So you admitted to your husband that you had slept with your ex in your house?
Yeah.
And you don't have no shame in it, huh?
But I slept with him after his ex called me telling me that they were having an affair too.
When was the last time you two were intimate?
It's been a while.
Last night.
No, Your Honor, we was at separate hotels, no, Your Honor, that's not true.
And you made your way to my hotel.
That is not true,
Right.
Your Honor.
I thought it was our understanding that you believe Mr. Taylor was the father.
Your Honor, I don't know which one is the father, because
Okay.
I had sex with both of them.
Thank you. That's it.
Living a lie, quenching for peace, the man had enough of his spouse's cheating. He arrived in the court with evidence of unmasking his slattern wife. So now he wanted DNA to end this paternity drama once and for all. Let's hear how he has been holding up.
Mr. Broussard, you opened your case hoping the court will grant you a paternity test so you can prove you are not the father of 4-month-old baby Charles. You say your 1-year marriage to the defendant is on the verge of collapse because of paternity doubt, and you need this test.
As you can see, Mommy's infidelity had brought them on the verge of falling apart. He claimed that his concrete evidence made him doubt the paternity, yet he signed the birth certificate. But once it is proven he was not the father, then it would be over for good.
I say my marriage is on the verge of collapse due to the infidelity, the trust issues, and all the evidence, coincidence that I discovered.
And you need this test today because you're on the birth certificate.
Yes, I am.
You are this child's legal father.
Yes.
Okay, you heard the defendant. Their relationship went to the wishy-washy road real quick when their neighbors blurted out that Mr. Broussard was not the father of the baby. She claimed that her spouse was obsessed with her ex and was just making things up.
He is so obsessed with my ex that he feels that I'm cheating on him every time I do something. We argue, we fight all the time. Me and him just are not getting along at all.
How long has it been this way?
Since the end of last year, there has been rumors going around in the neighborhood that we grew up that he is not the father of our child.
However, the man believed the rumors because they all came up with some evidence. So to support his claims, he brought an exhibit. But the bummer was with every assertion, baby mama was getting trapped in her lies like this.
Reason why that gave me my doubt that little Charles is not mine, there was 2 glasses on my table. I just got off work, and basically I walked in, the cups looked freshly poured. You still can see the water dripping off of it because it's going to room temperature. So I asked, like, why is there another cup here? She basically said, I don't know. I said, well, you had in my house then.
Oh no, it was just compulsive lying. Now she could not even blame the daddy for his doubts, but this was not over yet. The further unmasking the lies game got more strong as baby daddy revealed the mommy's lies like this.
The rumors. I am well known in my community, and I felt kind of disrespected when a child came to me and said the ex-boyfriend had told me that him and your wife are still communicating. They want to have a family, a baby together. They about to push you out the picture.
Even though her cheating was not hidden anymore yet, she continued sleeping around with her ex. As the defendant saw handprints of another man all over her body, and she admitted that it was revenge sex. Oh my!
I was away, and once I returned home, I seen Helen in the shower, and she had like handprints on her thighs, her buttocks, and I just looked at her.
Handprints, like you could see handprints.
Like he was slapping her lower half. So basically, she stepped out the shower. She told me, like, I slept with him.
Oof. This woman got some nerve. Instead of being ashamed of her wrongdoings and lies, she was defending herself. Anyways, Judge Lake heard enough of their testimony, so she determined that DNA was vehement in this paternity conflict. So let's get those results and see if they ended up on good terms or not.
Mr. Broussard, you are the father. How does it feel to hear that?
I feel a lot more better about the results. I still got love for him. As far as me and Helen go, you know, we about to work on our marriage and our differences. Pretty happy that this is my biological son.
This case was outright palooza, as Mr. Hammond claimed that his debauched spouse had imperiled their marriage with compulsive lies. He claimed that baby mama was busy with another when she conceived the baby.
Mrs. Hammond, you claim that after 10 years of marriage and repeated attempts to get pregnant, a month ago you finally gave birth to your miracle baby, Isaac. You need today's result to prove to the defendant, your husband, that this is his baby. Is this correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Honor.
Initially, the defendant shed light on the habitual lying part. He claimed that his spouse had numerous guys in her life. She had a habit of manipulating people. Even she had made him a fool in their whole marriage of 11 years. But now it's time to show that's enough.
I had multiple partners. She lies to my face constantly. So how am I supposed to believe someone who's telling me it's night and it's daytime? You know what I mean?
So you say she lies to you all the time?
All the time. She had me in a snowsuit in the middle of summer.
So I want to understand this. I mean, you've been together 11 years.
It turned out that Mrs. Hammond's promiscuity was at the peak that even her lovers gave the red flag to the defendant and dropped him a video of them banging his wife. But Mommy tried to wipe it like this.
Numerous people that have told me they've been with my wife.
What did they tell you? What happened?
I've seen a video of my wife giving oral to another man.
That is such a lie. There is no video, Your Honor. There is no video.
But was there a man and was there oral sex?
In all honesty, there has been cheating on both sides. My husband cheated on me first. I took it the wrong way.
So to prove his claims, the potential daddy brought evidence, which alleged that Mr. Hammond caught his wife texting another, which raged him, and he ended up posting something on Facebook. Ooh! That should not be posted on social media.
Conversations with my wife and another man that should not be spoken. And she's in the same place as this man is. You know what I mean?
And you posted these to your social media.
Correct.
You said, how does your wife of 11 years text people she's cheated on her husband with messages like this?
However, the plaintiff was consistently lying. She contended that there was nothing true in those text messages because it was one of her friends. But this time, Jude Lake jumped, cut her chase off, and did not let her nincompoop her like this.
I mean, I know what I have and what I haven't done.
You saw this man?
Yes, I did. I met him at our local county park, said hello to him. It was a friend that we had both worked with, and it was nothing more than that. It was somebody that was probably trying to get at me, but nothing I was going to involve myself with.
Now, hold on, Ms. Hammond. Listen, don't waste my time. This is not an exchange between a coworker and you.
Moreover, it was slipped that the woman had numerous other people in this paternity run, as she had been moving around with a single status. That even claiming to be married shocked Mr. Hammond.
You believe that this person could be Isaac's biological father?
Yes, ma'am. And numerous others. I mean, she's moved so single. I don't understand how she claims to be a married woman.
So can you take me to the point when Isaac is born? Were you at the birth?
I was.
One after another, Mommy's lies were being caught. So Judge Lauren jumped into the birthday party. It was disclosed that the man did not help her even when she was about to give birth. He abandoned her and went to the casino with another woman.
He showed up to where I was living. I said, okay, are you gonna bring me to the hospital? He said, no, drive yourself. He left me at my house. He left and went to the casino with another woman. Mind you, after my water broke, I had to drive myself to the hospital. He didn't show back up to the hospital until 20 minutes before I gave birth.
But the husband denied the claims and stated there were no other women with him because he went to gamble only. This weird part triggered Judge Lake, so she reacted like this.
But why were you at the casino gambling if your wife's giving birth
That's a good
to the
question,
baby you
right?
prayed for?
Right. I can't have an answer for that one because I don't know.
What kind of craziness is this?
Right?
Now that's one we've never heard, Jerome.
I haven't heard that one.
My water broke. Great, I'll be at the casino.
Right. Apparently, Mommy was trollop, and her unfaithfulness had made things go south. Still, the potential dad claimed that his spouse cheated on him with multiple men, even if it could be 13, 16, or more, because Mama lied and swindled a lot.
Mrs. Hammond, how many times have you cheated?
I've been with 3 other people.
I know at least 6 that she's been with, so there's no reason to fake the funk.
He believes that's so many
I believe
people.
you've been with more than 6. I believe you've been with 13.
Then again,
16.
Why are you saying these numbers?
Because she would tell me anything.
Even though Miss Hammond's cheating had left her marriage at a vulnerable point, the only way to determine the truth about the baby was to uncover the secret DNA envelope was holding. So let's get those results.
Mr. Hammond, you are the father. God answers prayers.
Yes, ma'am. My
Full
word.
speed.
I'll give you my word.
I know you've been on the slow speed because you didn't know if it was your child. You've been crawling.
What would you do if you see a girl wearing tight pants? Would you slide into her bed by selling dreams of wedding bells as the man did in this case? Mr. Wiggins rolled up in the court seeking Judge Lake's help to get back his family. Let's hear what brought him into this mess.
Mr. Wiggins, you are here in court to prove that you are not the father of Miss Davis's child, Aubrey Wiggins, and say today's results will change your life. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Davis, you claim that Mr. Wiggins knows he's the father of your child and is trying to deny her because he already has 3 children and doesn't want to step up and be a father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow. A brief separation gave him the pass of sleeping with another woman. It turned out that in no time he was up to jiggery-pokery with Miss Davis. Yet he wanted to free himself from accusations of being a father to a baby girl because his family was at stake.
We was never together.
Almost 2.5 years?
Yes, sir. Yes,
I was
ma'am.
married, Your Honor. I mean,
Yeah, married, but
it just, it kind of went longer than it should have.
But your hope is that if you can prove that Aubrey is not your biological child, that you can convince your ex-wife, the woman, I guess she left because of this situation?
Yes, ma'am.
Further, the defendant claimed that they were in a committed relationship for 2 years, and the man admitted to manipulating and lying to this young lady for his gain, yet blaming her was the reason he lost track of his family. Oh my. What type of man is he?
I knew I was in a relationship.
You did?
2.5
We were
years we
not.
was together.
I was telling her what I felt I needed to tell her to ultimately get what I wanted.
Obviously,
in a short
And
period
you might have gotten more than you bargained
Right,
for, right?
He did, a child.
And so why did you think you were in a relationship, Ms. Davis?
He stated that multiple times.
Was he telling you there was going to be a future?
Yes.
The next Judge Lake hopped into the pregnancy. It slipped out that Mr. Wiggins' mistress wanted his wife out of his life because she expected to have her whole life with him. So, put on his deception hat and duped baby mama like this.
And then I asked her to let me tell my wife. And of course, because she wanted my wife out of the picture, because she did want more.
You're right. I wanted more because that's what you presented.
And I was good to her. I mean, because ultimately I was trying to get something out of her. So I did what I had to do. I felt I needed to do.
Like 2.5 years, how we're not together.
However, he asserted that Miss Davis approached his wife on Facebook and disrupted his married life. Oh man, are you out of your mind? I mean, he has no control over his desires and yet inoculated the defendant for the havoc? That just makes no sense.
Miss Davis told her that she was pregnant and that she wasn't going anywhere. She inboxed her on Facebook, which
Right.
caused a lot of havoc in my life.
You wasn't gonna be a man.
Did it cause the havoc or did you cause the
He
havoc?
did, cause right.
Okay, so the next chronicles of Wiggins started. He claimed that the mommy had been busy with another man at the time she conceived the baby because he sent some text messages on her phone. So that's why he was denying paternity.
Got into a bit of an altercation. I don't remember the exact details. And my family member seen her be picked up by another guy
That was my cousin.
that
I
she
wasn't
claims
guilty.
to be her cousin. However, it's a coincidence that while we were at the hotel, she happened to be taking a shower, and I think I was using her tablet for something, maybe
phone.
scrolling on Facebook.
To prove his sham show right, the alleged father brought an exhibit to the court. He alleged that Miss Davis had fabricated his name on the birth certificate, but how she forged his name was quite interesting. Dude. But the baby's mom wiped off all his lies like this.
No Einstein or anything, but I'm educated enough to know my own birth date. This is the birth certificate. Apparently she knew my name. This is the birth date that's listed on Aubrey's birth certificate. My birthday is November the 9th, 1990.
The one
this
you wrote.
says 11/11/1990.
And
I
you
didn't
wrote
write
it.
anything. And also in the state of Florida, because I was married, I wasn't just supposed to go on her birth certificate.
Till now, it was apparent Mr. Wiggin was a compulsive liar who was putting on sham allegations about baby mama, and he was clowning just to defend himself. Further, it came out that they were still sleeping together, and it ticked Judge Lake, so she articulated the reality like this.
Before I get to these results, are you all still involved?
No, we're not, Your Honor. No, we're not, Your Honor.
Since when?
At the same time, two different answers.
Right.
Exact same time.
When was the last time you two were intimate?
It's been a while.
Last night.
No, Your Honor, we was at separate hotels.
Yeah, Judge Lake was right. He was playing on both sides of the fence, yet contended that he wanted to get back his family. However, their back and forth did not help and made things more complicated, so the last hope to get closure was to reveal the DNA results.
Mr. Wiggins, you are the father. Miss Davis, what are you feeling?
I've been going through this for a long time. Like between him and his wife, like.
It's his child.
Right.
You are the father. You have the clarity you need.
I'm gonna take care of my child.
Good.
That's all I ask.
But you also have to deal with this thing you all have.
Yes, ma'am.
Never let anyone take your absence for granted, or it may trap you in the paternity muddle. Mr. Talon addressed Ms. Jackson in front of Judge Lauren to settle down the heated mess. He claimed that the defendant had made him a buffoon as she was pregnant with someone else's baby, and he was unaware till 9 months.
Mr. Taylor, you say your fiance, Ms. Jackson, dropped a bombshell on you when she was 9 months pregnant and told you that you may not be her child's father.
Yes, Your
She later changed her mind and said you are Raymond's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
And while you're hoping he's yours, you're here today to prove that Raymond is not your biological child.
No.
The trial began with the deceiving saga. It turned out that the plaintiff turned on ghost mode, abandoned his family, and went to another city to pursue his career. Mommy claimed that she buzzed him on the phone, but he turned his back on her. Duh! Then why play the victim card?
And I met Mr. Green in a shelter, and we ended up becoming intimate, but Mr. Taylor left me and my children stranded in Florida while he went away to, I guess, chase his dreams, knowing that we had nobody and knowing that we had nothing.
It turned out that when Mr. came back in the picture, the woman was already having hanky-panky with another man. But Mama shed light on the truth. She said that Daddy never looked back to his family. So to find comfort, she brought another man in the picture.
She was having an affair with Mr. Green.
I had no one to turn to but Mr. Green. Mr. Green was the person that was
what
there
Mr.
for me.
Green did for you. I've been here
Taylor
taking care of
didn't
these
send
kids.
any money.
Randy got my
away.
last name. Where Mr. Green at?
Mr. Taylor didn't send
Where
any
Mr.
money
Green at?
while he was
Why is
away.
Taylor
All right. Let me hear you one at a time because I want to understand this.
Further, Mr. Taylor alleged that the defendant got intimate with the other man right after he left. That precipitated the bickering in the court, because no one was ready to drop their allegation, but the defendant buckled up and advocated that they would have been in paternity court if the man had used his mind.
Did you turn to Mr. Green?
A few weeks.
3 days later, she was pregnant by October 12th. I left September 14th. That was less than a month.
No,
That's a lie.
I didn't do it right away.
Ooh, I'm so mad.
If he would have never left us there in the first place, this whole situation could have been avoided.
The next plaintiff stated the facts that intervened in his doubts about the baby boy. It slipped out that he was unaware that his girlfriend had conceived another man's child until an anonymous person hit him up and dropped the bomb of, "You are not the father."
Well, a guy that was on Facebook, he inboxed me, basically telling me that LaJoy was pregnant by Mr. Green. So that was my first time even hearing about it. I confronted her.
Now, have you talked to her? You've been talking to her on the phone?
Yes.
And she's never mentioned I'm pregnant?
No, but I confronted her about it.
However, Mr. Taylor disclosed that he has caught baby mama texting the other man. He told that she tried to settle with Mr. Green, but he denied the baby, so the mommy decided to make him adult and pin her child on him like this.
While I was gone and she was pregnant, she was trying to get Ryan the whole time to be with her. Be with me. I wanted, can I name the baby after you? I put this on my daughter, man. She had a Magic Jack app on her phone. When you on Wi-Fi, you could text people. She was texting him. She was asking, can I name the baby after you?
Who is she texting?
Mr. Green.
For better understanding and to create some sense, Judge Lake summoned Mr. Green to the podium and asked about the particular situation. He said that things were not in good circumstances when he started messing with Ms. Jackson, so he asked her to move in with him.
When I met her, she told me that he had left her for a rap career in Atlanta, just left and didn't want nothing to do with her, had nothing to do with her, didn't want to take care of the kids. So I'm sitting there and I feel bad. Right? So I sit there, I feel bad. She got 2 kids. So I sat there and I felt bad. We vibed, and then I was going through stuff with my baby mom at that time. Then it got to a physical level.
From cheating to being caught red-handed, it revealed that the defendant changed her mind when she was kicked out of Mr. Green's house and got back with Mr. Taylor. But Mama denied the saga and shouted to her core to prove her point like this.
You move in with Mr. Green?
Yes, Your Honor.
At what point do you go back to Mr. Taylor?
When he dropped her.
No, he didn't drop me. I left.
When he dropped her.
No, I left.
When he dropped her.
So wait a minute, Mr. Green, is that, how you know the story? From the text
too much
you saw it
clues.
on the phone?
No, too much clues. I'm an intelligent person, Your Honor.
As you know, one lie has the power to tarnish 1,000 truths, as it happened in this case. Ms. Jackson first asserted that her fiancé was the father, but later, it turned out that she didn't even know who was the biological father of her baby, because she swindled around both men at the time she conceived.
I thought it was our understanding that you believe Mr. Taylor was the father.
Your Honor, I don't know which one is the father, because I had sex with both of them.
Thank you. That's it. That's why we're here, just to tell the truth. So the bottom line is you really don't know. You told him he was the father. You messaging him as well.
Telling him he the father.
Because you don't know.
As it was evident that both parties were at daggers drawn and no one was ready to drop their allegations. One after another, secrets were being revealed in the court, but nothing was helping them to get the closure they needed. So Judge Lake pulled the strings and decided to announce the results.
As to whether his biological father is Mr. Taylor or Mr. Green, his biological father is Mr. Green.
If that's mine, that's good. And I respect being there.
I was about to say, you got a good child, though.
So where do we go from here? Ms. Jackson, I know you were hoping that the result would be different today because you wanted to save your family.
Mr. Williams' life had been stuck in paying and dodging child support, and by now he had enough of this lifestyle, so he wanted to end this once and for all. He claimed that he was not the biological father of 22-year-old girl Clarissa. Yet Ms. Smith tricked him into this paternity run.
Mr. Williams, you have brought Ms. Annette Smith to court today claiming she scammed you into paying child support on her 22-year-old daughter Clarissa. You say you use condoms at all times, so you cannot be Clarissa's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You plan to prove your case today and return to court in your home state to dispute the $36,742.43.
As it was obvious that no one could be scammed into this kind of huge mess without being related, yet Mr. William tried to prove that he was an innocent man who has done nothing wrong which led him into this dispute, and Miss Smith was the villain of his story. But the defendant closed his lie box and spilled the truth like this.
Not being able to get to my fullest ability to make a lot of outstanding money.
When I met Eli, he never had a job.
That's what
I paid for everything.
No, that's not true.
Eli had money when he got into a car accident.
Oh my goodness, that's not true.
We had a relationship.
That's not true. We did not have a relationship.
Yes, we did.
We did not have a relationship.
Yes, we did.
Up next, the woman explained the relationship saga. It got slipped that the alleged dad was the only possibility of being the father, as mommy did not have any other guy. So when she told him about her being pregnant, he embraced, but later turned his back on her.
You say this was a real relationship?
Yes, ma'am, it was. There you go, right there.
You all were boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yes.
No.
At the point that you realized you were pregnant, before that, were you sleeping with anybody else besides Mr. Williams?
No.
When you found out you were pregnant, did you tell him?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
What day?
What was his
The
reaction?
same night.
What day? Night?
Yep.
However, he was acting like a compulsive liar, but looks like his words were not even helping him anymore, as it turned out that he had an opportunity to get a DNA test, but instead of clearing this mishmash, he went ghosted.
Where
They
did you get that
asked
from?
Eli to come down here for the blood test. Eli declined. He didn't want to show up.
When?
You remember?
No, I don't.
When they put you on child
No, I
support,
don't.
when you get AFDC,
No.
they asked you for
Now,
the
I'm gonna
blood
tell you,
test, and he didn't
no,
want to do it.
That's not true.
Did you
Yes,
have an
it is.
opportunity to take a DNA
No, I
test,
did
sir,
not.
and you didn't?
No, I didn't.
And I got his
Because
address
for
when I
what?
went to
Let me
California
tell
to
you.
see him.
The defendant claimed that Ms. Smith forged his name on the birth certificate by sending legal documents to the wrong address for financial benefits. But the woman gave him a sassy reality check like this.
You're saying she purposely
Yes.
gave the wrong address
Yes.
so that you would then miss the court date
Yes.
and be named the father
Yes.
by default.
Yes.
And then once you were named the father by default,
Wasn't nothing I
you
could do.
were put on child support.
Wasn't nothing I could do. Nothing I could do.
As it was apparent that the plaintiff's testimony was quite shady, as he was putting on the defensive show with his false fibs. Even though no one was buying his baffled story, he continued stooping low with his nasty saga like this.
We ain't never used no condoms, Eli.
What did you used to do with them?
Oh my
Tell us,
God.
what do you, oh,
See,
you
this-
never,
this- I'll
you
tell
never,
you.
we never
Why are
used
you
condoms.
doing
You never
this?
used condoms.
Never.
So, Mr. Williams, you say you always used condoms.
As far as I know, always use condoms. What I do know is she used to take my condoms off to the bathroom, and whatever she did in the bathroom with that condom.
I guess Mr. Williams should act mindful instead of swinging around back and forth. As up next, the defendant brought some pictures to support her claims, but the man asserted that he backed off because there was another man involved.
And
That's when he
Clarissa,
came. That's when he came to visit.
this is you and the baby.
Right.
It
Can't
doesn't
tell.
look like you're denying her at that point.
Doesn't look like it. I'm not denying, because at that point in time in life, none of this was available to me to find out a blood test and all this stuff, because I didn't know nothing about it.
So
That's what I'm saying.
this is a picture of you both and Clarissa in California.
Yeah.
Apparently, both parties were at odds and were making things more difficult in this mess. So Judge Lake summoned Clarissa. She testified that Mr. William had never bothered her and was the true definition of deadbeat daddy like this.
When I was 5, he called me. That's all I remember.
Just when you were 5.
Yes.
But since then, you don't remember anything.
No.
You have not seen him.
No.
No birthdays.
No.
Father's Day.
No.
Holiday.
No.
Nothing.
No.
By the time that was probably happening, probably when that child support started hitting me.
Nevertheless, the young girl told the court that his alleged dad had missed out on so many things and she wanted to have a father figure and fatherly bond in her life, but he had never thought of being there for her in her 22 years of life.
You missed out on my entire life. I wanted to have a father to brag things about in my academic life. I wanted to explore, just to have fun with a dad right beside me all the time. Someone to support me. You were never there. I wish you were. We could have had some fun, but no, you weren't never there. You stopped calling me.
This silver woman had missed the foremost part of her life due to Mr. Williams' doubt and negligence of knowing the truth, as their back-and-forth squabble was not helping and the plaintiff's crazy acting was sparking more turmoil in this conflict. The only way to know about the truth was to reveal whatever DNA envelope was hiding.
Mr. Williams, you are her father.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm so happy for you. Mr. Williams, how does it feel to finally know for sure?
Feels better than not knowing.
This was, in fact, your biological child all along. You've never had sex with her.
She's absolutely crazy.
So you think she's just making this up?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Yes.
If you've never had sex, why are you here?
We landed in a homeless shelter. And I was not known as Champ Press Curtis. I was known as Resident 1625. Sleeping in a twin-sized bed with my son.
Once, and actually someone was there, that's when I felt like maybe he was the father because he was there playing the father role.
How did you know that person was playing the daddy role if when you came, they left?
We're back in the courtroom for the case of Webb v. Cole. Buckle up, folks, because this one is a wild ride. Mr. Webb is in the hot seat today as he denies being the father of Ms. Cole's 6-month-old daughter, Majestic. And get this, he claims they were never intimate. Can you believe it?
Girlfriends say there's no chance whatsoever that you fathered the defendant's 6-month-old daughter, Majestic. You say your evidence will shock this courtroom. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Cole, you and your mother say you're 100% certain that Mr. Webb is your child's biological father and say the only reason he's denying your baby is to save his relationship with the woman he's been with for the past 3 years. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
But Ms. Cole and her mother are 100% certain that Mr. Webb is the biological father. They think he's just denying it to save his relationship with his girlfriend. Oh, the drama. And here comes Mr. Webb, standing in the courtroom with his confident swagger. He's ready to shock us all with his evidence that will prove he's not the father.
You've never had sex with her.
She's absolutely crazy.
So you think she's just making this up?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Yes.
If you've never had sex, why are you here?
I know for a fact the dates line up. And I know he stayed with me for 2 months. And he slept in my bed with me for 1 night. And we had sex. April 11th.
That's when you believe you conceived your daughter?
Yep.
Mr. Webb, this is strange.
But wait, Ms. Cole is not backing down. She's standing her ground, saying they definitely had a night of passion that resulted in little Majestic. This is getting intense, folks. Oh, the judge is not holding back. She's grilling Mr. Webb, asking him how he can be so certain he's not the father. And he drops a bombshell. He claims they never, ever had sex. Can you believe it?
Take me back to the night you believe you conceived.
I can't exactly remember, but I know that it was a night that we was partying.
Oh, yeah, right. He ain't like that.
Your Honor, the worst that we've ever done is take a picture, and she was already in the bathroom. She had called me in there. When I walked in the bathroom, she said cheese and took a picture before I could even say anything. I didn't even want to take that picture. That's how crazy she is. She posted it on Facebook.
Ms. Cole isn't having any of it. She's calling him a liar and saying he's just trying to save face. The courtroom is heating up, people.
I had moved back to Detroit. How was I there for 3 months?
But why were you staying there with them for a week if you had a girlfriend?
She had knew about it. We were friends. She trusts me. She knows I'm not like that. I don't do that type of stuff.
I've known him for 7 years, and he is not like that at all. And you called me, and you called me with his friend, telling me that he was there for 3 weeks, and you guys were having sex, and blah, blah, blah. At first, I did believe that.
Host, hold on to your seats, because Ms. Cole is about to spill the details of that fateful night. She says they were partying, and things got a little heated. Oh my. But Mr. Webb is sticking to his story, saying he never slept with her and even had witnesses to back him up. This is turning into a he said, she said situation, folks.
Due date matched to when we blanked. That's all I'm going by. After this is where I'm like, she's literally crazy. Because now I understand what she's saying. At the first text, I'm thinking, okay, she's hinting towards it. Now she's full blown out trying to say that we did stuff. So that's when I'm like, there's something wrong with her. Okay, this is the last one. This is how this ended. She had sent me an ultrasound saying that's a 3D photo. Tell me she don't look like you. Are you that crazy?
Okay, folks, let's take a look at the evidence. Ms. Cole presents a calendar highlighting the night she believes she conceived Majestic. She's really trying to prove her case here.
Specifics that you can share that would prove your case.
I can tell you how big his winker is. It's pretty small.
No, it's not. I could tell you plenty of times.
It's about that
I've known him
big.
for 7 years.
It's about that big.
Definitely not. And don't you dare!
Without my father for 39 years. I want to know that my grandchild has a father. Pretty bad.
It ain't me.
Not having a dad.
But Mr. Webb is not convinced. He pulls out his phone and shows the court a series of text messages. He claims they prove that Ms. Cole is just trying to pin this on him. The plot thickens. Oh, the tension is palpable. The judge is about to deliver the results. Will Mr. Webb be the father, or will Ms. Cole's claims be debunked? I can't handle the suspense.
Webb, you are not her father.
Oh! Yeah, you're crazy. You need to go to a mental hospital.
Ms. Webb.
There, get her there. Get her there.
Mr. Webb, Ms. Reams, stop.
All right, folks. Today we have Ms. Thompson accusing Mr. Smithby of abandoning her and their 2 children, forcing her to drop out of nursing school. She's seeking paternity tests and $2,000 in child-rearing expenses. Let's see what went down.
And your children, forcing you to drop out of nursing school and leaving you to struggle as a single mother. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You've come to court seeking paternity tests for both of your children, Legend and Radiance.
Yes, Your Honor.
Additionally, you are suing the defendant for child-rearing expenses in the amount of $2,000.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Thompson is not holding back, y'all. She's here to fight for her kids and get the support she deserves. She claims Mr. Smithby was living with her, had a key to her house, and even had another baby with someone else while they were together. Woo, that's some messy business.
I do what I can for the children, you know, food.
So you say it wasn't a relationship?
No, it wasn't.
What was it for you?
Just a sexual relationship, basically.
And so it was just sex, and that's enough to make 2 children. And the children are just gorgeous.
Ooh-wee.
So when you see your children, that affects you. What do you feel as a mom?
I'm hurting. Not only for my kids, but for me, like, he's saying we was never together, but he was living with me in my home.
But Mr. Smithby is denying it all. He says they were never really in a relationship, just a sexual relationship. Oh boy, here we go. He claims he did his part for the kids, but Ms. Thompson ain't buying it. She's tired of struggling and wants some help.
Right, let's start with Legend. Legend is 2 years old.
Yes, Your Honor.
Take me back to the circumstances surrounding Legend's conception.
We had sex, which was May of 2013, the 11th and the 12th. Both of those nights we had sex. And my son was supposed to be conceived on May the 12th. So it's no doubt in my mind that Mr. Smithby isn't the father.
Hold up, fam. Did Mr. Smithby just say he was a psychic pregnant reader? I can't even with this guy. But Ms. Thompson is not having it. She's got evidence, she's got receipts, and she's ready to prove he's the father. Let's see if she can back it up.
She told me not to come around while she was pregnant. I couldn't see her while she was pregnant, so that's why I felt like Legend wasn't mine.
Tell me specifically
Like I would call and text, ask, can I see her? Do you need anything?
He
Can I
knew
come
where
over?
I stayed at. His family members knew where I stayed at. He
That's
also
not true.
popped up to my house several times while I was pregnant with Legend.
That's not true, Your Honor. I came over once and actually someone was there. That's when I felt like maybe he was the father because he was there playing the father role.
All right, folks, we're getting into the nitty-gritty now. Ms. Thompson claims she had sex with Mr. Smithby on May 11th and 12th, and their son Legend was conceived on May 12th. She's pretty confident he's the father, but Mr. Smithby is not convinced. Let the DNA test drama begin.
But I told him that I didn't want his help because I didn't look what's happening now. He's denying my kids.
You were feeling like, look, if you don't want to be bothered, don't come around.
Right.
So you do admit that you were kind of pushing him away.
Yeah.
Yes, because I didn't want to go through this.
But you were interpreting that to mean that you must not be the father.
Like, why would you try to hide all of this from me if I'm the father?
I was not necessarily hiding Legend. He knew I was pregnant.
That's
from
not
him.
true.
Oh, the tension is rising, guys. Mr. Smithby is pulling out the big guns, or should I say, the big shoulders. He's arguing that his family has broad shoulders, and little Legend doesn't match up. Wait, what? Broad shoulders? What is this, a paternity test or a bodybuilding competition?
Miss Bay, she says you won't be faithful to her, you won't be with her, but you keep potentially making children with her. You having this ongoing sexual relationship where you're making children.
Not necessarily, Your Honor. That ongoing sexual relationship been stopped a while back ago, you know, and I just try to play the best role I can in their life, but I can't deal with somebody that wants to be drama in my life.
The bottom line is, at first you were interested in having a relationship with her.
But hold on, Ms. Thompson ain't backing down. She's got her own evidence. She's pointing out the ears, the eyes, the nose, and the skin complexion. She's like a detective on a mission, y'all. Let's see if the DNA results can solve this mystery.
So when I went to the doctor, they confirmed that I was pregnant. When I came back and told him, he said, I already knew that. I told you I was pregnant.
Exactly. So I guess I'm just a psychic pregnant reader. Come on.
Well, I don't know.
So you didn't say any of these things?
I didn't say any
I'm
of
just
them.
living in my own world.
Got to be a dream or something. That could have been reality.
Okay, so when you say you weren't intimate too often.
It's time, people. The DNA results are in, and the tension is palpable. Now it's time for the moment of truth for 17-month-old Radiance. Will Mr. Smithby continue his astonishing denial streak, or will he have to take responsibility for one or both kids? Let's find out.
Mr. Smithby, you are the father. I told you I saw the ears. That's all I gotta say. No, really. These are your children.
All right, folks, let's jump right into it. Our first case features Miss Curtis, who is desperate to prove that her ex-fiancé, Mr. Buckley, is the father of her 22-month-old son, Xavier. But hold on tight, because this case takes a wild turn.
Miss Curtis, you say this court date is extremely important to you. You're here to prove to your ex-fiancé, Mr. Buckley, that he fathered your 22-month-old son, Xavier, because his denial has left you homeless and in need of help.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Buckley, you say Miss Curtis is a cheater, and today the test will prove you are not the father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Curtis claims that Mr. Buckley's denial has left her homeless and in need of help. Talk about a roller coaster of emotions. Miss Curtis breaks down in tears as she recounts how she ended up in a homeless shelter with her son. She explains that Mr. Buckley kicked her out of his apartment, leading them to their current dire situation. This is heart-wrenching, folks. No one should have to go through that.
Take your time. I know it's difficult.
With him being in and out of our life and kicking us, not only me, but his son out of his apartment, we landed in a homeless shelter.
I did not.
And I was not
true,
known
Your Honor.
as Chmielinski Curtis. I was known as resident 1625, sleeping in a twin-sized bed with my son.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Sharing-
I did not kick her out.
Sharing everything with other residents in the homeless shelter.
But Mr. Buckley has a different story to tell. He accuses Miss Curtis of being a cheater, and he's here to prove that he is not the father. Oh boy, this is about to get messy.
I was being nice to her. She got mad at me because I was with someone else. I didn't want a relationship with her. She told me she was gonna make my life a living hell while living in my apartment. And that's why I called my landlord. I was being nice to Mrs. Curtis.
At this point, did you believe her son, Xavier, was your biological child?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Buckley boldly denies being Xavier's father and claims that Miss Curtis was involved with other men during their relationship. He argues that he cannot be held responsible for a child that may not be biologically his. The drama is heating up, folks.
Congratulations, who's the father? But I was different. That you were willing to step up and be his father, which you haven't done.
I haven't done that because of you.
Because of me?
Yes.
It's just a drive away. You got a car. You can drive.
You were living in my apartment. I allowed you to live in my apartment. You
and
left
still
because
didn't come
I didn't
and
want
see
to be
him.
with you.
No, I didn't leave because I didn't want to be with you.
Yes. Every time I came over there, it was pure heck.
We lived together.
I allowed you to. You had your own.
To shed some light on the situation, Miss Curtis brings in a witness, her friend Annika Bunch. Buckle up, because this witness has some explosive information to share. Annika Bunch drops a bombshell, claiming that she witnessed men coming in and out of Miss Curtis's apartment. She alleges that Miss Curtis was involved with multiple partners during the time she was with Mr. Buckley. The plot thickens, and the drama just keeps on coming.
Him and his family.
Your Honor, she also told me she had sex with someone while she was pregnant. So why?
While I was pregnant is different than when I conceived.
Before he was conceived, you were with other people.
No, I wasn't. I worked 8-9 hours a day, and then I went over to your apartment.
That means you got plenty of other hours left.
From leaving work at 4:30 and being at your house by 5, where do I have time between packing my clothes and getting a ride over there to have sex with somebody else? Because I'm not a 5-minute quickie.
Miss Curtis vehemently denies these accusations, stating that while there may have been other men around, she was faithful to Mr. Buckley. It's a classic case of he said, she said, and we're here for every minute of it.
Something that we made together, something that I never thought was possible.
Something that I don't think is possible, Your Honor.
But in this photo, it doesn't look like. I see tears in your eyes, Mr. Buckley. What do you feel when you look at that picture?
It's impossible to describe. There's no way to put it into words. I just don't, like I said, I don't think I can have kids. I've been there, I tried.
Now let's fast forward to the day Miss Curtis gives birth. This is a pivotal moment, folks. Get ready for the waterworks. Miss Curtis tearfully recalls how Mr. Buckley stood by her side at the hospital, with tears streaming down his face. She shares that he was overcome with emotion upon seeing their newborn son, Xavier, for the first time. Could this be the moment where doubts start to fade away?
So what you're saying is from your back door.
That's not true, Your Honor. I lived at the top of a hill. She lived at the bottom.
This is my house, and this is hers.
And I lived on this end.
Her
she
back
lived
door
on this end.
is right here.
There's a straight line of sight from her back door to her front door.
She knows, and she done came and confided in me and told me about the other guys.
But wait, there's more. We have photographic evidence of Mr. Buckley's emotional connection to Xavier. These pictures don't lie, folks.
Xavier was conceived, Miss Curtis.
No, Your Honor.
You were.
I was not. Me and Mr. Buckley were just hanging out and kicking it and having sex.
Casual sex.
So you're on the birth certificate, Mr. Buckley.
And I have proof of that too.
I'd like to see that. Are you currently paying child support?
I'm on child support.
No, he quit his job so he wouldn't have to.
I'm working right now. I'm missing out on
Just
work right
started.
now. I just started back.
Look at these pictures. Mr. Buckley is beaming with love as he holds baby Xavier. The bond between them is evident, and it's clear that Mr. Buckley has embraced his role as a father. This is a powerful visual testament to the love they share. Can you feel the emotions, people?
You're still not providing for your child.
Mr. Buckley, if you said you had doubts, you say it's your heart that drove you to sign the birth certificate, even though your mind had doubts. Did you understand that because you signed that birth certificate, you would be legally obligated to provide support for this child?
Yes, Your Honor. My family made me well aware of that, and my entire family begged me not to sign it. Like I said, I did it out of my heart.
The tension is palpable as the judge reveals the DNA test results. Brace yourselves, folks, because this is the moment of truth.
Buckley, you are not his father.
Oh, baby.
I'm very sorry. Miss Curtis.
I wasn't with anybody else.
Obviously you were with someone else.
Our plaintiff, Devin, discovered a bombshell just 2 weeks ago. His father's girlfriend dropped the bomb that there might be some doubts about his paternity. Can you imagine 36 years old? And finding out your dad might not be your real dad? This is gonna be one roller coaster ride.
Weeks ago, you were shocked when the defendant revealed to you that he is not your biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You've petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that he is, in fact, your father.
Yes, ma'am.
Defendant, Mr. Hines, you say you are currently behind more than $20,000 in child support, but claim to have evidence to prove you've always known the truth.
But hold on tight, folks, because the drama doesn't stop there. Devin's dad, William, denies being his biological father and claims that Devin's mother cheated on him. Oh boy, here we go. The accusations are flying left and right, and tensions are running high in the courtroom.
You're 36 years old,
ma'am.
and 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. And I'm looking like, huh? Like, I kind of just blew it off, like, okay, because we, went on about the conversation or whatever. I didn't think too much of it. It wasn't like, oh, well, this, and this, and went on with it. It kind of just died off. But upon leaving, he said, I want to talk to you. So I said, let's talk. What you mean? And so you really doubt this or whatever the case may be?
But wait, there's a twist. Devin has been there for his dad through thick and thin. He was even by his side when William was on his deathbed. Now that's dedication. But will this devotion be enough to convince William that he is, in fact, his son? We're about to find out.
In his life, knew anything different that you were his father. But you say you knew all along. Is that correct?
Yes.
Why is it you kept that secret?
Because when
Because
his
got
mother,
a motive. That's why.
What?
Motive. That's why he's challenging everything. It's a motive. No
He's not
man is
talking to
going
you.
after 6 years. No man is going to go to court and see if he's his child or not. After I've been living with you for 6 years, I was the only one there for him. This man was on his deathbed.
Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Devin's mom, Brenda, admits that she did cheat on William in the past. Ooh, the plot thickens. But did her infidelity lead to Devin's doubts about his paternity? And why is William bringing up these cheating allegations now? Is it just a way to avoid paying child support? We can't wait to find out.
Oh yeah, he might not be your son. But the crazy part about it is, he also claimed that my younger sister, the same thing.
When you say he has a motive, what do you mean by that?
It's always got something to do with money, man. It always got something to do with money. Well, now all of a sudden, he wanna get this divorce from my mother after 40-something years. He wanna do...
Yeah, because I never got in touch with...
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the moment we've all been waiting for. The DNA results are in. Will William be proven wrong? Or will Devin's worst fears be confirmed? The tension is through the roof as Judge Lake prepares to deliver the verdict.
Mr. Hines, you are the father.
Told you it's a motive.
Mr. Hines, I'm gonna give you a moment that you need to take.
All right, folks, let's dive right into this roller coaster of a case. We meet Kevin Kidd, a man who claims he's been caught up in the web of a manipulative user. Oh boy, you can already tell that this is gonna be good.
Manipulative user who convinced you that you were the father of her son, Nathaniel, then changed her mind when someone better came along. You and your mother say Ms. Rawlings' mind games have wreaked emotional havoc on your family, and you are 100% positive you are her son's father.
According to Kevin, Tanova Rawlings convinced him that he was the father of her son, Nathaniel. But as soon as someone better came along, she changed her tune. Talk about a plot twist.
Well, Your Honor, when this first started off, she came to me and told me that he was mine. She was sending me letters when I was gone.
And so you were away when she found out she was pregnant?
I was away about a month after. I went away a month after she found out she was pregnant.
Okay. And did you tell him it was his child, Ms. Rawlings?
No, Your Honor. When
Tanova, on the other hand, insists that Kevin is fully aware he's not the father. She even drops a bombshell, claiming that Kevin told her he couldn't have children due to some rare blood disease. Oh, the suspense.
But as, everything progressed and everything started off, somehow another female came into the picture, and I went off and did my own thing and was dealing with him and another gentleman also around the time that I conceived my child. So
what was your relationship with this man like?
We were in a serious relationship, and I was actually at some point, once I left from being around Mr. Kidd, that I was actually staying with him.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Tanova reveals that she was in a serious relationship with another guy around the same time she conceived Nathaniel. Oh, the tangled webs we weave.
And at that time, were you aware that your son was in a relationship with Ms. Rawlings?
No.
We've never been in a relationship.
So it wasn't just a sexual relationship?
No, ma'am. We were she just needed somewhere to stay. So I was just looking out for her, and it just became a sexual encounter.
It was an encounter?
More than one, but...
So that's what we call a sexual relationship.
But hold on, folks. It's not just Tanova and Kevin going at it. We have Kevin's mother, Tammy Jenkins, in the mix too. She is convinced Nathaniel is her grandson and even has pictures to prove it. Let's take a look at those, shall we?
You say you know Mr. Kidd is not your child's biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a manipulation tactic.
It was, as long as you were giving her what she wanted and needed at the time, it was okay. I've never one time been told I wasn't the grandmother. She did not ever say that she doubted full-heartedly that Kevin was the father. She said it's a possibility between this one guy and my son. And as I sent her pictures, she's like, yes, I believe it's Kevin's.
Wow, would you look at that? The resemblance between Kevin and Nathaniel is uncanny. Those lips are definitely a family trait.
Because of the fact that I had got a job that was paying $10 an hour, and I didn't have anybody to watch him. And at the same time trying to figure out who's going to watch my child, and me not knowing how I'm going to be able to feed my child, how he's going to take his bath. I chose it to where that since she was there, that my child
at that specific time, you did not have a job yet. You had already lost a job 2 days before that. You gave
let me read this letter. You wrote, I, Taneva.
Tammy Jenkins is not backing down. She's determined to be a part of Nathaniel's life, regardless of the outcome. Now that's what I call a dedicated grandma.
And get everything situated, so I couldn't set up somebody to watch my child. So
I understand. Listen, Ms. Rawlings, I can see you are a young woman. I can see you're a young girl. I understand that you got yourself in a situation, you were in a situation where you didn't know who your child's father was, and you were trying to do, I sincerely believe, what was best for your child. You basically, in that moment, trying to get your child to a safe place.
As the tension rises, we bring in the expert, Dr. Chmielinski Gator. She's here to shed some light on Kevin's medical condition, which supposedly made him unable to father a child. What a twist.
All right. Well, the court wanted to get down to the bottom of this particular situation because we were very concerned about this information and wanted to be accurate in our assessment of it. So we've called upon one of our experts, Dr. Chmielinski Gator. Jerome, will you please escort Dr. Gator into the courtroom? Yes. I'd like to ask her a couple questions.
Hey, doctor. Can I have you go up to this witness stand?
Dr. Gator drops the bombshell that Kevin's condition doesn't actually prevent him from having children. It was all just a misunderstanding. The plot thickens.
But that really doesn't have anything to do with the ability to father a child.
Okay.
He had a separate issue, which was a childhood infection. And so there are various childhood infections, from mumps to repeated urinary tract infections to STIs like gonorrhea and chlamydia. Those can cause inflammation in the testicles, which then causes scarring and makes it difficult for you to emit sperm.
With all the evidence and testimonies laid out, it's time for the moment of truth. Will Kevin be revealed as Nathaniel's biological father? Will Tammy get to be the doting Grammy she so desperately wants to be? The DNA results are in, and we're about to find out.
Mr. Kidd, you are the father. You are the father.
The most idiotic moments on paternity court.
Your Honor, he is a snake. He is doing the same thing to
All
me
right,
with my
now.
daughter.
All right,
You know, don't even plan on even go there.
Let's get order. Mr. Wilson, you are not the father.
Told you, I'm not the daddy.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
That's not crazy.
Zariah?
Yeah, she's not my baby. Better go make some phone calls.
It looks like Miss McCrory just can't get enough of paternity court, as she was back, claiming that Mr. Gino Bailey, the defendant's deceased ex-husband, fathered 3-year-old daughter Nevia. However, her lover thinks she was putting back the whole show, just to milk money out of them.
This is the proof of the survival benefits that my daughter.
I'd like to see that.
Well, the thing is, I believe I have every right to the money. Because he's the father of her, I know 100% he is, and he should support her.
Oh, looks like the plaintiff wasn't hiding her intentions at all. It's about the green, which brought us to the fact that why didn't a Michigan woman get a DNA test before he died? And instead asked for it after just 2 days of his passing. Now that's straight up fishy.
Ms. McCrory, why did you wait?
I didn't wait. When I was with her father, Gino, he actually would wanted to take a DNA test, but he wouldn't because of his current girlfriend he was with. She didn't want him involved. He's the father to my child because he's the only one I'm sleeping with. So she has a right to the benefits. He should support her.
He can't support her if he's dead.
Nonetheless, this trial was disconcerting for Miss Mento, as she wasn't able to make peace with the fact that her father may potentially have another child. And a new baby was just disturbing the 19 years of memories of her dad.
I really don't care if she is my sister. I won't have nothing to do with it. Because I had 19 years and I want to remember my father the way he was, being his only little girl. Yes. When I spoke to my father, he told me that it wasn't his. He said there's no possibility she looks nothing like him.
And you chose to believe your father. That's what
yes,
you were
I believe
told.
my father.
Further, the defendant added to the trial that making a baby with Mr. Bailey wasn't as much of a piece of cake as he thought, because the guy had a serious medical condition that would lead to miscarriage if baby mama wasn't given some specific shots.
We told her that he had a medical chromosome condition.
She did not.
And she sat right there and called us a liar, that it wasn't true.
Man, the stakes were higher for this one. There's the paternity issue, survivor's benefits involved, and now came the medical condition. That's why the judge asked Miss McCrory if she was intimate with anyone else during that window of conception. Her take was this.
Were you intimate with anyone else?
No. Up until I was intimate with him from August until November.
Do you remember the night you believe you conceived?
Yes. There was brown sheets with flowers and everything, and we did it like all night long, 3 times.
That I can guarantee.
Well, you know what? You must not know. Maybe you weren't good enough then.
I was married to the...
Okay, hold on.
Further, Mrs. McCrory added that the potential father was a famous male gigolo, and some women claimed to be his baby mamas. Both plaintiffs were portraying the alleged victim as some kind of idiot, but we tend to wait for the result before jumping to any conclusions. Anyway, the defendant refused to play along.
Who do you believe the father is?
I think it's her husband, Mr. McCrory.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
The whole situation is that my late ex-husband is very dark-featured. I think Nevaeh looks like Mr. McCrory.
Newsflash, I guess it was on the birth certificate of Nevia, Mr. McCrory himself. And now he was standing on the podium claiming otherwise. What are these people full of? I want to see how they will explain this floozy.
You're not his one and only. He said that. I don't want to be involved because my daughter's gonna be 18. I don't have to pay child support, and I don't want to pay again.
He had to pay child support till she was 21 years old.
He said 18 to me.
No, it was 21.
Well, they vouched for that because the real one refused to step up. McCrory took care of the child, and though Mr. Bailey wasn't present, he acknowledged the paternity and often texted to ask about his daughter.
I went to every doctor's appointment. I went to the ultrasounds, and then I was basically with her for the whole pregnancy, which she wasn't. And so I fell in love with that child, and I'm gonna be with her for the rest of my life and get married to her, so why not take responsibility for somebody who couldn't?
We often hear people say that they were just doing the right thing, but now situations demand amends, which isn't always true, because this couple portrayed their true intention with their disrespectful comment on the memorial page of Mr. Bailey.
From the McCrorys, listen, you're not daddy's only little girl. Newsflash. And a message that said, don't worry, you'll meet daddy's girl soon. Hope you're a good big sister. Why would you put this up on the memorial?
I can't wait for her to meet her sister. I want other people to know that.
No, this did not have a good intention.
The judge was not liking the cheap blows this family was pulling off. They were just trying to get back at the defendant, and now testified their fake good intentions, trying to feed lies to Judge Lake, which is not a good idea at all. Trust me.
When you know good and well you had no good intention behind sending that. Just say, we've been on a Facebook social media war, and I wanted to get back at them. I might not like it, but at least I know it's not a lie.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm done with this. Ron, give me the results.
I'm done with these two. They're just clowning here and wasting everyone's time. Who thinks of using children as pawns to get what they want? I hope the result shows what they were claiming. If not, all of this is gonna be embarrassing.
Nevaeh McCrory and Sierra Marie Mento are not related.
Yes.
Told you.
Yes, told you.
Now we're both even.
Fake profiles, fake. Everybody was fake. This was all just a despicable mess. Oh man, the woman didn't even flinch at the resistance. It's like she knew that this was coming. Now, this just calls for some good old-fashioned schooling.
Why don't you look surprised? I read the result, and honey, you just flipped that page right on to the next and went to arguing over it, Miss Smith. You testified here for a good 30 minutes of my time that there was no other possible father in the world.
Mr. Wilson here was adamant about not being Zariah and Nyana's father, because he knows that his trophy wife can't remain faithful to one man for too long. However, the mommy, on the other hand, was just disgusted by such accusations. But I'll get to that part later on.
At the time she had the baby, she was a liar, cheating all the time, had multiple guys running out of the house, all on the internet. I mean, go to the apartment, everybody talking about who she messing with.
So you say these kids aren't yours?
No, they're not mine.
Quite an allegation, aren't they? And the baby mama testified against them. She already had 2 other kids with the guy at the podium, and no other potential father made sense to her.
There's a significant age difference between you, Mr. Wilson, and Ms. Butler. You are 48, she is 25.
Age will make you a
Jerome, write that down for me. We're gonna remember that.
Age difference? I don't know about Jerome, but I'm definitely writing that down. Firstly, coming to the Zariah conception. The plaintiff told the court that he found another man's text messages in his wife's phone, who looked just like a baby girl.
We did try to have sex a couple of times, but
How can you try to have sex?
we try to use the little condom, but we stopped and it didn't happen. Like, he never or anything.
There was actual sexual contact, but he didn't finish the act.
Yeah, because I ended up stopping.
Even after that incident, Mr. Wilson gave Miss Butler a chance. The baby mama ended up conceiving her 3rd child, but the sugar daddy was sure that the baby had nothing to do with him.
I didn't have my phone at the hospital, so I would have definitely had called him.
Oh, he wasn't even there?
No, ma'am.
Because my phone, I didn't have my phone around that time.
You were in a relationship and you went to the hospital and had the baby without even letting them know?
Didn't let me know.
Wow. First he claims that he's the father, and then he goes and does a thing like that. This made the alleged think that another guy was present at the time of birth, and now, when he refused to step up, the defendant thought of pinning the baby on him.
You didn't have your phone. There was no one there with you with a phone? No one came to the hospital with you at all?
No, really, I was really the only one up there.
And so you couldn't tell a nurse or anybody to call him?
It wasn't on my mind.
Because I wasn't a dad.
Another shocker was that even though the plaintiff had signed the birth certificate, Miss Butler had changed it back to her last name. because of the constant denial from baby daddy.
Because you've been denying the baby, that's why.
When he says, but you have sex with other people too, you don't deny that. You just say, I have sex with you, that you guys have sex all the time. You understand that it really just takes one time.
Even after agreeing with all the allegations thrown at her and other guys in the paternity mix, the young mama was stuck up on the fact that there was no way any other guy could be the father of her child.
The kids is his though. I'm not thinking that.
You wouldn't have
the kids is his, so there's no other possible father. No, the kids is his.
So if Zariah is not your biological child,
I'm gonna be sad because that's a wonderful little child and she shouldn't be put through that. What she's going through with her mother.
Yeah, it'll be really sad if the results turn out otherwise, because we know that it's mama's baby and papa's maybe. Sometimes women in paternity court have to learn the hard way. Fingers crossed.
Mr. Wilson, you are not the father.
Told you. I'm not the daddy.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
That's not crazy.
Zariah?
Yeah, she's not my baby. You better go make some phone calls.
What is this woman high on? Like, come on! Anyway, the judge ever patiently went through the same rodeo for the second child, and the baby mama had the same record playing.
We always had sex without no condom, so that's why I don't understand. But Nayan is definitely yours though.
I'm disappointed, Miss Butler. I really am. You a mother.
No, she's not.
During this baby's conception, men were hiding in the bathroom, and Miss Butler's money was being stolen magically, and this made the judge go ballistic. Being old enough and still putting up with sloppy antics and making babies.
This is all during when Nyana was conceived. Yeah. You got all that going on?
Yeah,
hiding men in the bathroom and men being over there and stealing the money, and every time you go over there, you still having sex with her. Now you old enough to know I don't know what you doing.
Finally, the grown-up is owning up to something and not blaming the baby mama for once. Anyway, this all was going on for too long. It was about time that we concluded. I mean, do the result for the second time.
Mr. Wilson, you are the father.
The same rodeo was up and running in this case, as Mr. Scott appeared in Judge Lake's court to seek her help to uphold his reputation. He claimed that multiple women tried to pin their babies on him, and DNA results would prove that Miss Crane was also one of those scammers.
Mr. Scott, you say you are appearing in court today to clear your name.
Yes, Your Honor.
Defendant have dragged your reputation through the mud, claiming you are the father of their children. You have requested a paternity test to prove that the defendant's 3-year-old son, Jalen, is not yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
However, the baby mama has her own set of allegations lined up. She claimed that the potential father was nothing more than a fraud who trapped her into having his baby while he was married to someone else.
Now, Miss Crane, you say you were always faithful to Mr. Scott and that Jalen is definitely his son. You argue Mr. Scott is the one who cheated and claimed that during your pregnancy, you found out he was a married man.
She's been cheating the whole time.
Never.
It was revealed that both parties had their deceiving hats on, yet no one was willing to back off. The defendant spilled the beans of truth and claimed that Mr. Scott had been married for 9 years, but the plaintiff put on his armor like this.
I've been divorced since December 9th, 2009.
How did you discover?
Your Honor, I was 7 months pregnant. I didn't know where Marcel was. He used my phone one time. He deleted all his calls, so I went back on the internet, went back to the research, called all the numbers he called, and found out he was married for 9 years.
That's true, I was married, but I've been divorced since December 2009.
So the woman said that when she confronted the man, she and his wife spat on the call. His spouse told her to get the baby aborted. Oh my! Why did people stoop so low?
The lady was like, who is this calling for Marcel? I said, well, I'm his baby mama. He's like, well, how was that when I'm married for 9 years with him and he's right here? So Marcel hopped on the phone, cussed me out for calling. Then the lady was like, well, this is my husband, so she told me to get an abortion. So he was like, no, that's my son, and I'm never gonna have her given an abortion.
It seemed Mr. Scott was caught up in his web of lies. He managed to wipe Miss Crane's accusations and alleged that she brought his ex-wife's cousin into the picture. His doubts were on point.
When you want to talk about tattoos, what about the dude's name tattooed on your body?
What
that
about
you said it was your brother's. But then come to find it's another dude that's holding the baby. I don't know if she still has it, but what she just told me recently that she had it covered up, she has not 1, not 2, not 3, but 3 dudes' name tattooed.
No, Your Honor, I had one, and that was my ex-boyfriend for 5 years.
Wow, First messing around, then dating his ex-wife's cousin. Up next, it slipped that Mommy was the perpetrator behind all the doubts, as her sex life had been giving him the red flag like this.
She sees my ex-wife. They said, that's what they told me, that she put the cover over the baby's head so nobody could see the baby. They asked, is that Marcel's baby? She said, nah. And then, so she had to explain.
No, Your Honor.
She had to explain
what
to
happened was
let me talk.
the sister was telling me that wasn't his baby, so I covered my son up.
Oh my! Miss Crane disclosed that the bombshell dropped on her at the clinic when she found out the man impregnated her and his ex-wife at the same time. But the dad did not let the mom play and started squabbling with her.
Were you pregnant when you found out?
Yeah, I was 7 months pregnant. And at the doctor's
She didn't even
appointment,
have a
I seen
car.
his wife, and she was pregnant at the same time. I thought you
But
was
they wasn't
divorced
divorced in 2009.
Yeah, but we were separated though. We were separated.
And then,
We've
Your
been
Honor-
divorced, but we were separated.
Wait a
Me and
minute.
her wasn't
You were
together.
divorced?
During their back and forth bickering, it slipped that the defendant changed her mind and told Mr. Scott that he was not the father of her son and did not even put his name on the birth certificate. So, you know you can't unring that bell you rang before.
My son's life in 3 years. Wanna know why?
Because of him.
It's
No.
inconsistency. She won't let me be there. She knew this was my baby. If she knew this was my baby, she's 100% sure. Then how come you didn't put my name on the birth certificate?
Your Honor,
Why
why
he
would
doesn't
I
have
put his
my
name
last
on the birth
name?
certificate?
Why
He's
he don't
been
have my
married for
last
9
name?
years.
All my kids, I got 9 kids. I have 6 kids, and I take care of all my kids.
Finally, Judge Lauren summoned witnesses to square things off. But instead, she entered shouting to her vocal cords in rage, like he was a bonehead to her. Uh-oh, seemed like Mr. Scott's gonna have some huge trouble.
Your Honor, he is a snake. He is doing the same thing to
All
me
right,
with my
now.
daughter.
All right,
For real.
again?
You know,
What
don't
is
even
it
play,
you
don't
do,
even
kid?
go there.
Let's get some order. Have a seat.
Don't go there.
This gotta be
All
what
right.
you did, baby mama.
All right.
Hey, I take care of my kids.
Thank
man.
you for
Yeah, I'm
doing
good.
this.
Oh, and that's for you.
Let's get some order.
However, it was evident that a new problem had been raised for the mister, and probably he would have to come back again, as Miss Calhoun claimed him as the father of her daughter as well, and was also demanding a DNA test.
Oh, he's my daughter's father, too. My daughter's 4 months old.
That's your
4
10th
months
kid,
old.
right?
4 months old.
Hey, do the math, man.
10 kids.
Do
Our
the
kids
math.
look just alike.
I communicate with her
It's
good. There's no
nothing.
problem with her. You just
You know
can't
why
stay
I
off the
got
phone.
rid
We're
of
done with
Let's
this case.
get some order.
We're done with this case.
Then
Now,
shut up.
Nevertheless, it was clear that the witness's testimony flared up the situation as she brought another case for Judge Lauren Lake, and things went to and fro, swinging in between. So, it was time to pop up this paternity issue.
Mr. Scott, you are the father.
Told you.
Thank you.
You seem happy,
Oh, yeah, I'm very happy.
and I'm glad.
Very happy. Can I apologize to her? I
You
apologize
okay,
to
Miss
you
Crane?
for my assumptions. I will be there for him. I promise you. We live 10 minutes away.
No.
She's a send-off.
Corey, make my sister feel like a woman.
Particularly the line, do what you do.
Too old for the
kid's
nonsense.
not mine. Don't
Bad
call me about the
energy, bad
kid.
vibes.
Where do we go from here?
He was my escape plan. He was my dummy, basically.
Let's get some order. Let's get some order. I want to understand this very interesting testimony.
These two sisters were here to fight to the end. Miss Hayes claimed that her sister stole her husband and tried to push her out of her own home. Like that wasn't enough, she also had a child for him. Would she get her family back? Well, let's find out. Strap in, folks. This is gonna be one hell of a brawl.
Ms. Hayes, you say that your sister, the defendant, claims to have a child with your husband of 10 years, and you have petitioned the court for a paternity test. And you are here to warn her that when he finds out her baby is not his today, she'll probably never hear from him again. Now, Ms. Hayes, you state that your sister is just jealous that you were able to have her husband's baby and she was not.
Apparently, the stealing of husbands by Miss Hayes' sister was kind of a normal thing. I mean, it wasn't the first time she had done it. Miss Hayes got back from work one faithful day and boom! She meets the surprise of her life. Her sister and husband are lying in bed naked like it was another casual weekend.
And found him and her in our bed naked. And I just, I can't believe it after everything I've done for her. I knew that they were sleeping together, but to put it in my face and be in my bed and me walk in and catch them naked, why would it be any different? She slept with my first husband and my second husband. And I didn't even know about my second husband until my dad
and she had
told
me around each of them in the
And,
same predicament.
So you're not denying this,
No.
Ms. Hayes? Just so the court can clarify.
Now Ms. Hayes' sister goes on a rampage with tears dropping down her eyes. explaining how she lost control over her life at a very young age. She had quite a lot to say, jumping from drugs to prostitution, you name it. It was a pretty long rant, trust me.
I lost control of my life, myself, my morals, everything. And when I got clean,
every time you picked up a phone,
when I got clean, I had been an addict and homeless for 15 years.
It wasn't your mom.
And I didn't know how to be respectful. I didn't know how to be a woman. I didn't know how to be a lady. I didn't know how to respect myself. And it doesn't come overnight. And I did go to detox for a week. And when all this came about, I didn't go to my sister and say, I need sex or I feel lonely.
The courtroom started to get pretty heated. Miss Hayes' sister then goes on to say the most insane thing. She says she slept with her sister's husband because her sister told her husband to make her feel like a woman. Now that's insane. I mean, what does that even mean?
Corey, make my sister feel like a woman. I'm sorry. Maybe she did it for my best interest.
He came to me,
yeah.
and I said, do what you do. But anybody that was respectful would have said,
I just said
You're
I didn't know how to
sister's
respect
husband.
myself.
Well, anybody
And I
that
can
was
admit that.
respectful would have said, that's my sister's
Now you're playing the
husband.
victim, but you gave him away.
It's not about the victim. Okay. It's not about being the victim. You are one in a line of many. And let me say that he's...
As the bombs keep dropping in the courtroom, Miss Hayes goes on her own rampage, talking about her husband. Sadly, the man was no saint. He had affairs with several other women who claimed they had kids for him too. Things were about to tip the scale at this point.
6-year-old son, well, actually he's older than 6 now, and he raised a son that he believed was his for 6 years. Went to court, found out it wasn't his. He don't have nothing to do with him. He has a girl in Dallas now that says she has a baby by him. He won't go take the DNA test. And along with the numerous other women that always say they're pregnant, what makes you so special?
Why would anybody want to have Corey's baby? He's not a millionaire. He's not a millionaire. It's not like I'm going to get a lot of child support.
These sisters definitely need some therapy, if you ask me. They weren't acting like sisters at all. If you left them in a ring, they would rip each other in half. What was crazy about the situation was when Miss Hayes' sister's baby was born, Miss Hayes, and her ex-husband took care of the child. I mean, was this a family thing? I'm beyond confused.
She bought her everything. She bought my baby everything. And for somebody who hated me and her ex-husband, her husband, out of spite, why would they buy my baby everything? This is confusing to me. I'm like,
you to have a baby
pulled
shower.
both ways. This doesn't make sense. I didn't have a baby shower. Everything I got were blessings from different people. I bought it, not just you.
Let's have some order, ladies. It's a beautiful, beautiful little girl. And
now, Mr. Hill, the man who's been sleeping with 2 sisters, walks in to share his side of the story. Funny enough, he had some doubts that the kid wasn't his as well. Mr. Hill has been a very naughty boy. Why? Well, I'm sure you know the answer to that.
So, are you on the birth certificate?
Unfortunately, no, I'm not.
No, he wouldn't sign it.
He had to go to
That's
work.
not the case, ma'am.
He wouldn't. He was at the hospital every day and could have signed it at any time. It didn't have to be that particular day at that particular
Why
time.
didn't
That's
you
not
sign the
true.
birth certificate?
I had to be to work within an hour. They came down for her to sign the papers. By the time they would go up and get the papers for me to sign, I would have already been at work.
So you was in and out. Now, how old is the baby?
Almost 11 months.
Almost 11 months old.
Well, it's finally time to unveil the truth after so many lies and deceptions. The day of reckoning is finally here, with everyone itching to know the truth. Are you ready to find out? I bet you are. So take a deep breath, because here it comes.
When it comes to 10-month-old Kayla, it has been determined, Mr. Hill, you are her father.
The crazy thing about this case was that the supposed baby daddy in question was dead. Sadly, the grieving mom wanted nothing to do with the child in question, or the baby mama claiming the child was for the deceased. I hope you guys are ready for this baby daddy drama because it's going to leave you speechless. Trust me.
Tucker, you are here with your mother because you say the defendant's son, Mr. Abraham, fathered your 10-month-old daughter, Kanaya. You say that Ms. Baker and her family's public denial of this child has caused you pain, and you are here for an apology and to prove her son is the father.
Miss Hooker dived right in. Oh, you could tell she was very upset by how her baby daddy's mom treated her. She wasn't in court to make peace, trust me. She went on a long rant about how she was treated. She had quite a lot to say, and there was no stopping her.
It just seemed like everybody else was looking upside my head like I'm an animal or something. Like every time I'm sitting down doing something, they looking at me like I'm the outcast of the group. She looked like me, so why is a problem? That's why I decided I don't care about nothing. And none of that. I don't care.
Okay, so, Ms. Hooker, let me ask you, what was your relationship with Keyshawn, were you boyfriend and girlfriend?
First we was best friends. 6th grade year, we was best friends, and then we started talking. Then we stopped talking, and just like we stopped talking. Then we started going together.
The mic was passed to Miss Baker, who apparently was the grieving mom in the picture. When asked why she had doubts about why the child couldn't be her son, the answers she gave would leave you feeling sorry for her, honestly. But hold up, things are about to get really juicy, people.
Was on vacation, and we kept hearing that Denia was pregnant, but then when we finally found out for sure, he told me, he said he wasn't the only boy that had messed with Denia.
Okay.
And he made me promise that we was gonna get a blood test, and things didn't go the way we thought they were gonna go, and now we're here.
Miss Hooker's mom, on the other hand, didn't seem to care about Miss Baker's feelings at all. All she wanted was to clear the air about the baby daddy being the father of her daughter's kid. I bet you have so many questions. In her mind, she believed the baby daddy and her daughter loved each other very much. Well, I very much doubt that.
When him and my daughter was arguing. Other than that, I have pictures with him laying on her stomach. He had doubt only when he was angry. And I cannot get mad at what he tell his mother or nothing like that. But when he came over there with us, he held the baby, kissed the baby, and loved the baby. He just needs to get the results for Miss Carolyn. Because anybody else, to me, it doesn't matter. It's all about her. And he did ask her to get the blood test. So it won't be no doubts on their end about my grandbaby, because it's sad now.
Things started to get intense really quick. Miss Hooker's mom believed the baby daddy's family didn't want anything to do with the kid. Was that the same story with Miss Baker? You can bet it wasn't. She said she knew for a fact that Miss Hooker was intimate with a bunch of guys.
Was sleeping with at that time.
I think he just went off what they're saying in their circle of kids. You know, they talk, they have their own.
Yeah, the boy was telling him that,
you
know, when you were away, I was messing with her. He was unsure to the point of where he was just sick. He was worried,
scared.
He was scared. He lost so much weight. He lost a whole lot of weight.
The courtroom was turning into a smackdown. These ladies weren't gonna play nice with each other one bit. You see it in Miss Hooker's eyes? She was ready to fight anyone who spoke poorly about her baby, or her mom. Trust me, you wouldn't want to be on her bad side.
No, what I'm saying,
not you keep commenting on stuff.
What I'm saying,
so why you keep talking?
Listen, this is what we ain't gonna do.
I don't
care. Come here to go back and forth with each other.
You know
exactly.
What? And I ain't never, Judge, I ain't never said yay or nay. All I say is what my baby said to me. Right. I've talked to her, and she know why we here.
Exactly. And listen.
Yeah, I'm the one who
and
wrote
that's
the letter.
all I'm concerned with. All this other bickering, and I don't got time for it.
Oh, they sure pissed Miss Baker off real good. She turned into a hungry lion, ready to attack anyone who was disrespectful to her family and her dead son. She felt bad because Miss Hooker was trying to paint her as a bad person when all she did was be nice. If only her son was alive to clear the air.
Wasn't sure. I have never did or said anything to make her feel no bad kind of way, because like I said, they was kids. She's still a kid.
Yes.
And I didn't come here for no badgering, no bickering, trying to put nobody down. Right. I came here because this is what I promised my baby, and it's going to be done.
And the truth is, Miss Baker, and you're right.
Right now.
You're right.
Judge, my daughter really feels some type of way. It's not that she feels some type of way, it's like she more hurt.
Well, there's no going back now. The situation is just very messed up, but the truth is about to be unleashed. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. The answers lie in front of the judge.
The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Baker, Mr. Abraham, and Kenia Abraham is 0%.
And this is why right here.
Ms. Baker, are you all right? Do you need to sit down? Do you need to sit down, ma'am?
A mess hit the grounds in the courtroom when Mr. Washington and Miss Brown brought their issues in. Apparently, Mr. Washington didn't believe the child was his because he claimed Miss Brown had been intimate with other people. It's one roller coaster to the next in this episode. Let's dive right into it.
Mr. Washington, you claim you need today's DNA results because you were recently ordered to pay support for a child who is another man's junior, and you know you are not the father. Is that correct?
Yes.
So, Ms. Brown, you say you are fed up because Mr. Washington has denied your son for 4 years.
Yes.
Tell the court.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm fed up because my son is 4 years old.
Now Miss Brown was selling a different story to the judge, furiously explaining she told the judge how Mr. Washington had not shown any form of support while the child was growing up. It was her word against his, and she sure was selling her story, right?
Acknowledge the boy. Look how handsome my son is. Everywhere I go, everybody say how handsome he is, and that hurts inside to be a single parent that don't have no support system, no help, no anything. And I'm tired of it. 4 years, I mean, it's terrible, and he needs to be a parent.
4 years, Mr. Washington?
Your Honor, I do not believe DeAndre is my son at all, okay?
You a lie.
And what's really frustrating is having to go to court.
Like I said, it was her story against his, and Mr. Washington had a whole lot to say about the paternity of the kid. There was no shaking his mind, people. He was firm on the fact that the kid could never be his. Is he right? I guess we'll find out now, won't we?
Terriana is done a lot. And I'm not the only guy that she's been dealing with. And that's how I know that he's not my son. Your Honor, she's a send-off. Once I found out how
And what is you?
Wait a minute, what's a send-off?
And what are you?
Your Honor, once we started hanging out and I found out how she truly was, that's when I decided I really don't want any dealings with her.
What is a send-off? I have never heard this. Have you heard this, Jerome?
No, never. It sure seems Mr. Washington was a very good storyteller. Boy, the things that came out of his mouth would make a priest want to go to confession. He claimed every man in the city knew Miss Brown. Why? Well, I'm sure you can guess why.
It wasn't just me she was coming out there to see.
You a lie.
She was coming
You
out
a
there to see.
lie. You're
She'll come
lying.
out. Yana, it got
You
to the
lying.
point to where when I
You
rolled with
lying.
her to the gas station,
You lying.
every guy that was there was walking up to the car.
You a
Why?
lie.
How did I get drunk?
Shut
Who
up.
bought the alcohol?
Me, because you ain't had no money.
Came all the way
Right.
from Michigan
My point.
to buy me.
My
Came all the way.
Moving on to some further insane storytelling from Miss Brown, she finds out she's pregnant. Of course she beeps Mr. Washington to tell him she's pregnant. He is no way in the world excited to hear about the baby. He had so much doubt about who the baby daddy really was.
Yes.
You say what?
I said, hey, Ryan, I'm pregnant. And he said, what? I said, you heard me. I'm pregnant. He said, Miss Brown, I ain't got time to talk to you right now. And I said, why not? This is your child. And he said, how do you know that? And I said, because you goofy. I've been having sex with you since September and October. And I said, that was like 2 or 3 times a week with him. And when I conceived and went to the hospital and they told me I was pregnant. Yes, we were. Yes, it was. Stop lying. What was it, a one-night stand? No.
It was really hard to tell if these guys had ever been in love. I mean, from the yelling to calling each other liars. It was a whole lot. Now, Mr. Washington had some insane revelations he uncovered. When he said them, the court went wild.
Pulled up with one of my friends driving her car. She's sitting in the backseat of her own car.
Lying.
He in the front drinking, and she's sitting in the backseat. I said, what's going on here?
You're lying. Now
So
you
hold on.
telling the
With my
whole
friend in the
story.
car at my
You're telling the
house
whole
with him
story.
driving your
I
car,
didn't
but
have
you come to
nobody
see
in the
me.
car. No, I did
I
not
see
have
driving your car.
anybody in the car.
And he had another chick in the front seat,
No,
but she
he
in the
didn't.
backseat by herself.
No, that's
Of her
Okay.
own
Your Honor.
vehicle.
Okay,
That's not true.
so hold on, Miss Brown.
That was it right there.
Miss Brown, listen. No. Listen. Mr. Washington got a lot of details.
Another bombshell rocks the walls of the courtroom. Mr. Washington finds out that while she was pregnant, she was dating another guy. That's not the insane part, people. The kid is named after the guy she was dating. Damn, Miss Brown, damn.
Terriana was dating another gentleman. His name is DeAndre, the same name as the kid. DeAndre, the baby, he is a junior. Now, this man, she moved him from my area up there to Michigan with her, and he's been with her from the beginning to the end. And right there, that was certification. This man hit me up, Your Honor. He texted me. We was talking. He said, because I'm tired of the games.
I'm tired of the games, too.
Yeah.
This is what he tells me.
The moment of truth was finally here, but the air was thick with uncertainty as to whether their relationship was going to be saved or shattered for good. Time to see what the future holds for them. I hope you guys are ready.
Make sure I understand this testimony, because Miss Brown, I gave you ample chance to talk. Every time Mr. Washington asserts, and you have never said to me up until this point that you were also dating another man at the time you were seeing Mr. Washington. Did you ever tell this other man, Mr. DeAndre Gray Sr., he was DeAndre's biological father?
No, I never told
That's
him
a lie.
until
Yes, you
after
did.
I
And
told
when he contacted
him no.
me, that's what he said.
All right,
And
no,
that's what
I
he
did
said.
not.
He's tired of
no,
playing
I
games.
did.
This time around, it was the paternity of 2 kids that was in question. Mr. Jameson claimed he made a mistake signing one of the birth certificates, and he's here to determine if it really was a mistake. The stakes are high, people. Let's unravel the mysteries behind this couple, shall we?
Mr. Jameson, you've petitioned the court for a DNA test because you are certain you are not the father of the defendant's 2 sons, Malachi and Michael. You say you made a mistake signing one of the birth certificates and need today's paternity results to get your name off of it. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Jameson and Miss Smith's relationship relationship didn't last up to a week before it took a nosedive for the worst. A month into the relationship, Miss Smith kicked him out and went back to her ex-boyfriend. Seems like she hasn't gotten over him, I guess.
How long after that did she kick you out?
I say probably like a month she kicked me out.
And did you want to go back with your ex, Miss Smith?
I did, but then I ended up back with him. I told him I didn't want to go to my exes. I was done with it, and I went
Because she knew what
right
was
back
right for
with
her,
him.
Your Honor.
So you asked him to come back on home?
Yeah.
It
You
was just
came.
an act, Your Honor.
Hold on, I'm getting to that part. Who were you with before you asked him to come back?
2 dudes, Your Honor. She was with 2 dudes, you know.
How'd you find that out?
Because I went through her phone.
Oops! The mind-blowing shocks of their relationship are about to take over the entire courtroom. Mr. Jameson finds out that she hasn't just been cheating on him with her ex. There was also another guy in the mix. Oh, trust me, he was not happy when he uncovered that truth.
Yes, there was a guy in the neighborhood. Because I was always asking her around the dudes that she bring me around. Did she do anything with him? Not to declassify her.
You already knew
not
the
to
dude.
declassify her, but
But you already knew the guy.
He told me yes. When she kicked me out, she had sex with him too. And there's another guy. There's another guy.
A third guy?
Yeah, there's a third guy.
Who told you this?
I found it in the phone. The phone.
Miss Smith didn't deny any of what he said. Yes, you heard that right. She owned up to messing around with different dudes. I can't imagine how Mr. Jameson would be feeling right now. I mean, he was there from the birth of the child until this very moment. He even signed the birth certificate.
And I had doubts then. I was saying, no, I didn't want to sign it.
But he was there
I was
from the
there.
whole pregnancy, the birth, everything. You was there.
That's what a man
So
do.
how'd you doubt though?
But
He don't want to man up to his responsibilities though. As a father of both of my kids, which I know he is the father, he don't want to
it's
man
not
up.
about manning up.
It is about manning up.
Kids, you know what I'm saying?
That means financially, physically, all that, Benjamin.
I've been there too. I bought diapers, bought clothes,
How many
toys.
times? How many
it's not
times?
about how many times. I do it when they need it.
Trying to defend herself, Miss Smith starts to tell a different story. Initially, she claims she did cheat with some of the guys he caught her with. Now she's saying she didn't do any of that. Pick a side, Miss Smith. What exactly is it? Mr. Jameson had enough evidence, trust me.
Yeah, you know, sending naked pictures, you know, trying to pose up, do a little posing.
Were you sending naked pictures to men, Miss Smith?
I don't even know what he's talking about. I really don't.
All right, so who were you with before you found out you were pregnant with Michael?
Well, I got pregnant around the end of August, early September with Michael. Around October, mid-October, early October, I did start seeing someone else. I didn't get my menstrual cycle.
Now the window of conception just isn't adding up. When the math was done, Miss Smith happened to have been pregnant for 11 months. Now how is that even possible? It makes no sense at all.
Mr. Jameson.
Yes.
Your Honor, how you gonna be pregnant for 11 months?
11 months.
That's a good question, Mr. Jameson. You submitted a calendar to the court
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
that outlines why you believe you are not Michael's biological
That's
father.
a fact. Right here, July 20th. Around that last week, that's the last time we had sex.
The baby's due date was June 8th.
June 8th. The baby came 2 months earlier.
I also...
2 months to 2 weeks?
2 months. The baby was born April 16th.
He was premature.
Oh, he was filled with so much doubt and denial. He just wasn't ready to put up with any more lies that were jumping out of Miss Smith's mouth. He couldn't even remember the days when they slept with each other.
Remember that day?
I remember that day, Your Honor, but we wasn't intimate.
So did you sign Michael's birth certificate?
No, I did not. I'm not the dad.
So what's your relationship with Michael and Malachi? Do you have a relationship with them? They're 2 and 3 months. I mean, do you?
Well, yeah, I take care of them kids. I be there for them kids. I play with them, change their diapers, you know, feed them. Whatever needs to be done, it just gets done.
Do you feel connected to them?
Hold your breath now, because the DNA test results were ready to be revealed. The tension was escalating, emotions running high, and the truth was about to hit like a plot twist. Who's the real baby daddy? Let's see.
In the case of Jameson versus Smith, when it comes to 2-year-old Malachi Jameson, Mr. Jameson, you are the father. When it comes to 3-month-old Michael, Mr. Jameson, you are the father.
Thank you. Thank you.
He had just one job to do in that courtroom. What was that? To prove he was the biological father of their 4-year-old daughter. But hold up, his ex-girlfriend had other plans he didn't know about. I hope you guys are ready for this baby daddy drama because it's going to leave you speechless, trust me.
Mr. Moore, you came to court today to prove you are the biological father of 4-year-old Aliana. You and your current girlfriend claim the defendant has played on your emotions for 4 years and has allowed another man plan to raise your little girl. You are desperate to put the defendant's doubt to rest so you can finally be in your daughter's life. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Scott, you say you are positive.
It was written all over his face in expressions that he was frustrated by the way Miss Scott had treated him. He strongly believed he was the father of their daughter. But guess what? Miss Scott never allowed him to see their kid.
Seen my child a day in my life.
You've never seen her?
A day in my life.
But you're convinced she's your daughter.
Yes, Your Honor.
So why hasn't he seen her? If he feels that way, why hasn't he tried to see her?
I've tried to see her, Your Honor. She blocked me all sources of contact. She even changed her number. I tried to reach out to her on social media. I couldn't even get through on that.
So you have reached out?
Yes, Your Honor.
Through social media and tried her phone number, but
There's always a plot twist in the mix, and Miss Scott's twist was about to be revealed. Apparently, she was cheating on Mr. Moore, and she didn't want him to think the kid was his. I, for one, feel he has a right to know. Were they not dating?
Because she had sex with another guy at the time.
well, that's reason to doubt, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
But not deny. That's what you're saying.
Yes, Your Honor.
It still remains that you are a possibility.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So now, what was the nature of your relationship, Miss Scott?
We met on a dating site. He was kind of like an escape plan for something that I was going through. So I wanted to,
plan.
Yeah.
Escape plan.
So
looks like Miss Too Good to Be True was no saint after all. When Miss Scott and Mr. Moore initially started their relationship, she never mentioned she had a boyfriend. Oh, she planned this well, all right? She has some real explaining to do.
I was still like, I was currently in a relationship when I met him originally.
When you moved in with him?
Right.
So why would you do that?
Because he was my escape plan. He was my dummy, basically.
Well, all right. Well, I want you to be honest, but I think you might have just taken it too far.
This was my first love, Your Honor. I cared about her.
You did?
Yes, sir.
Skip to the baby revelation. Miss Scott finds out she's pregnant. You would think she would inform Mr. Moore about the baby, but that's not the case here. She tells her other man that they are expecting a baby, leaving Mr. Moore in the dark.
Told Mr. Moore that we were gonna have a baby together. I never told him that.
Your Honor, she called me and told me she was pregnant.
She did?
Yes,
never, never.
And how far along was she when she called to tell you?
She was a couple of weeks, about 3 to 4 weeks, she said.
3 to 4 weeks. And your response was?
I might be the possible father because I was having sex with her unprotected multiple times. And at the time, she was messing with the other guy. But she kept telling me, oh, you're not the father, but I know I'm the father.
Because he's not.
We dive right into the debate about the time of conception. Things get so tricky that the judge has to get her calculator to do the math herself. It just seemed like Miss Scott wasn't truthful about the whole situation with the baby and her other boyfriend.
When was Aliana born?
April 25th.
April 25th, hey? If I hit calculate, the window of conception is July 28th to August 3rd. And you claim you were in a relationship with Mr. Moore in July.
We had sex, Your Honor, in July and August.
Not from my remembrance. No, it happened in August.
In Miss Scott's defense, she claimed she was already pregnant before she and Mr. Moore started their relationship. She even claimed the relationship was just a fling, and it didn't last for a long period of time. Trust me, the courtroom is a whole mess right now. There's so much doubt passing through the minds of everyone.
So you're saying you were already pregnant from the other guy when you moved in with Mr. Moore?
I was, but I didn't know. I didn't find out until September.
Okay.
But when I went and got the test done, and they told me how far along I was, and then that's when I figured out that at the time of me and Mr. Moore having sex together, I was already pregnant because I was 2 months pregnant.
The tension was palpable, but no worries, because the moment of truth is here. Time to spill the beans on whether she was really his daughter or it was all a joke. All eyes were on the judge as she got ready to give the final verdict. Cue the mic drop.
In the case of Moore versus Scott, when it comes to 4-year-old Aliana, Mr. Moore, you are the father. You are the father, Mr. Moore. That's your little girl.
That's 4 years I've missed out, but I'll make it up to her. I promise.
The most heartless cases on paternity court.
The baby, because it's just a reminder that my brother's not here. So it's not about her and her feelings. When she does come around, it is a sense of sadness for me.
I feel like I should have to go through this. I didn't ask for this, but I took upon all of this because that's what a woman's supposed to do.
The percentage of relatedness is 0%.
I don't care.
Nobody
do nothing that I don't like you.
That's it. Stop talking to me then.
Nobody stop it. Stop, please.
Some rocky relationships never quite end. which led a single mom with her mother to prove the paternity of her baby to the defendant's family, and they hadn't accepted the daughter yet. Sadly, the father in question was no more, and doubts were hanging around everyone's heads. So, to get their answers, a DNA test was needed.
I try to deal with it now. Like, I really don't care no more. That's how I feel. I don't care anymore. I don't care who feel nothing about my baby. I don't care. It just seemed like everybody else looking upside my head like I'm an animal or something. Like, every time I'm sitting down doing something, they looking at me like I'm just outcast of the group. She looked like me, so why's the problem?
Were you boyfriend and girlfriend?
First, we was best friends.
Were you in love, or was
Yeah.
this was your first love?
Yeah.
The plaintiff's mother added that Miss Baker's family was the real problem that had caused them pain. Seems like Miss Hooker's reputation is not clean. Now, it was time for the defendant's testimony on behalf of the deceased son.
We kept hearing that Denia was pregnant, but then when we finally found out for sure, he told me, he said he wasn't the only boy that had messed with Denia. And he made me promise that we was gonna get a blood test. And things didn't go the way we thought they were gonna go, and now we're here.
Over the defendant's doubts, the plaintiff's mother denied it and said he was happy seeing the baby, but still asked for tests. She continued that Miss Baker's family disliked her daughter, and the baby's paternal aunt stepped in and cleared the air.
My mom did tell me, she said something about she think I didn't like her, you know, things like that. She has to understand that sometimes it's hard for people to look, for me personally, to look at the baby because it's just a reminder that my brother's not here. So it's not about her and her feelings. When she does come around, it is a sense of sadness for me.
Baby mama is emotional, but her judgment is wrong. Miss Baker added that her daughter rode the same bus with the plaintiff and told her about the pregnancy, and she communicated with Miss Hooker's mother, and they revealed the news.
So I said, do you know anything of your daughter being pregnant? I say, because the girl said they were on the bus, and she's saying she's
gonna
like,
find out what she having tomorrow.
what she's having and what she's gonna name the baby. And she was like, no. She got home. She ended up texting me a picture telling me, yeah, she is.
We went the next day and found out what she was having.
The defendant's daughter replied to the judge that his brother's words were clear that Miss Hooker was messing with another guy, and this led to an argument between both parties. Tension was rising, but Miss Baker handled it perfectly.
All I say is what my baby said to me.
Right.
I've talked to her, and she know why we here.
Yeah, I'm the one who
And
wrote
that's
the letter.
all I'm concerned with, all this other bickering. And I'm here to do what I promised my son. I'm not trying to do anything against anybody. We never had a problem. She comes stay the night when she feel like it, her and the baby.
The plaintiff's mother shared that the missing name of her daughter on the defendant's obituary hurt them a lot, and Miss Hooker got angry over it. It was poor treatment. Let's see what reasons Miss Baker had to offer this time.
The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Baker, Mr. Abraham, and Chmielinski Abraham is 0%.
I don't care. Miss
Nobody
Hooker do nothing to me, but I
did
don't
nothing
like
to
you.
you.
That's it.
Hey,
Stop talking to me then.
nobody-
Stop it! Stop, please!
Sole parenting is a hard road to walk, and Miss Palmer has been so alone and broken on this path. The defendant denied her claim of paternity and said he won't put up with the baby responsibilities because she had eyes on his money. To reveal the child's real father, we need a DNA test.
I deal with it only because I'm a mother, and it's just like,
Your Honor, first of all, we use condoms every time we had sex.
we never use condoms, Your Honor.
You're raising the child alone?
Yes, Your Honor.
With absolutely no help from Mr. Ross?
It's my daughter by myself. I never thought I would have to go through this myself. And it's just like, to deal with this, I feel like I should have to go through this.
The defendant agreed to the judge that he wasn't offering his daddy duties and shared how he met the plaintiff, and things took a rocky turn from there. Well, that was fast. But listen to what he said about Miss Palmer's choices.
We were having sex for 2 weeks, but we were using protection the whole 2 weeks. Asking for a serious relationship, she told me that she wasn't ready yet because she was still messing around with other guys.
You all had sex this first day after meeting at the gas station one day, the next day, good morning, and the next of y'all were in the bed.
Yes, Your Honor.
When she told you she did not want a relationship,
I broke it off.
If she wanted things casually, then how did this situation pop up? Hence, the plaintiff gave her testimony with honesty about the feelings she had at that time and revealed the other guy's involvement.
And then it's just like when I started talking to him, it was just only him. But the month before,
Your Honor,
it
she
was
told me
someone
she was
else.
talking to somebody.
I was talking to someone the previous month, yes. But the month that I met him, no.
How soon after that did you find out you were pregnant?
My conception date was between the 6th and the 9th. I met Mr. Ross on the 7th. We had sex on the 8th.
The defendant told the judge that about 2 months later, he found out about the pregnancy, and she told him he wasn't the father. Well, then send it to the real daddy. After this claim, the plaintiff explained everyone's doubts.
It was a mistake on sending it to him. So once he continued to deny, it's just like, I left it where it was, and I continue with the alleged father.
Of course I'm gonna deny because she told me that I wasn't a father. 9 months later, after she had a baby, she comes to me and tells me, well, I think you are the father. Of course I'm gonna have doubts because if she told me that I'm not the father and she was sleeping around with this guy and she lied, then who else to say that she might not be sleeping around with somebody else?
She continued saying that she had tested the other guy, but negative results made her doubt. So she asked the defendant, and he started accepting the kid, and had planned to buy her a car seat. Well, at least Daddy did something for the baby. Then Mr. Ross explained his concerns on her claim.
At this point in time, I was in California. I just kept blocking. I blocked her over 4 times. I didn't change my number over 2 times. I told her I'm not the father of that child. And she kept bothering me. I mean, I had to change my number. I had to do something.
You felt bad, but you didn't attempt to help me either.
I said I was gonna buy a car seat. I ain't say I was gonna buy a fraternity test. She trying to trap me because she know I have money.
It's not about money,
She
Your
never
Honor.
asked.
Still, things were not clear about the paternity, so the judge asked Miss Palmer about her struggles without a father figure, and she broke down, sharing her fears in the court. It was tough for her, and now her baby was in the same trouble.
I didn't meet my father until a week before I gave birth to my son. It's not a good feeling to have one parent, and he's a boy, so it's just like, I don't want my son just to feel like his dad never cared.
And what was that like for you growing up without your father?
It was hard, and I just don't want the same for my son. Like, he doesn't deserve it at all.
Mr. Ross is just attempting to avoid his responsibility.
The judge asked the plaintiff about the defendant's hesitation, and she said he did it on purpose. But he threw the argument back, saying he asked her to pay for the test, and she threatened him with child support. Moreover, he further opened more secrets about baby mama's affairs. The court was ready for the results.
He didn't tell him anything because once I got my DNA test, that was it.
But you were cheating on him.
I was not cheating on him.
Mr. Ross, you are the father.
Are you gonna step up and be his father?
Yeah, he'll take care of him.
This is your biological son.
A promiscuous woman and a liar together made a baby. Now the poor boy was asking for his daddy. In this case, Mr. Black, with utter surety, denied paternity, while the plaintiff was ready to prove the truth to his face. To get closure for the little one, a DNA test is necessary.
When it's Logan's first day of school, he'll ask, where's Tyrell?
I have a lot of doubt on the reason why I'm not the father compared to what Jasmine had done with a lot of shady things that made me believe I am not the father. So
he doesn't show up for his birthday parties. He promised Logan that he would come to his 3rd birthday party.
Going back, they were high school buddies and had a good time, but not sure how long the relationship lasted. Miss Myers listed it as 3 months when he left for another mama chick, but her lover had a different memory. Well, someone here's got dementia.
So you said it was 2 weeks?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it 2 weeks?
No, ma'am. So who picks someone up from work? Who sleeps with the person? Who does homework with the person?
It was just
So in your mind, he was your boyfriend?
He was.
Casual sex. That's all it was. I was a side dude, I found out later.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
Lies just don't stop swirling around. The defendant said through a courtesy call, Miss Meyer relieved him of his paternity, but she denied and accused him of lies, saying he was drifting away from the baby. Some shocking truth bombs are thrown by the plaintiff.
He has 3 different kids by 3 different women.
That doesn't bother me.
He
could have been settled
even
this.
texted me that
We could
and
have been
said he
settled
doesn't
this.
want the world to know he has another child by another woman.
Okay, so hold on. After you told him, then he slowly started drifting away because he didn't want to be involved.
Not only that, he was back with his ex-girlfriend.
Following up on his courtesy calls, the defendant said he showed up at the hospital, but they didn't let him in. He didn't even wait and left. What a man. Then, Miss Meyer told the whole story from an opposite angle.
I was in labor. I called Tyrell and I said, hey, I'm in labor. And apparently his girlfriend at the time, or whoever she was, she snatched the phone from him. She's like, oh no, baby, Tyrell's not coming. And so Tyrell did not come while I was in labor. He came 3 days later. I've had this baby by myself. I went through this by myself.
Then, the defendant argued why someone else signed the birth certificate. It's questionable why you would inform someone, and next, don't let them participate. Upon this, Miss Meyer said it was his other girlfriend that reported her. He won't come to the hospital.
Were you dating, or could he potentially be the father too?
We were just dating. He could not potentially be the father. I'm 100% that he's his dad. Like, I slept with nobody else. He's lactose intolerant.
What that got to do? What that has to do with it?
That's usually something that's hereditary.
So why? Hold on, I'm still stuck at lactose intolerance.
A health condition is not a solid paternity proof, miss, but we appreciated the laugh. The plaintiff replied to the judge that she wasn't fooling around anywhere, but regarding paternity claims, the defendant disclosed another scenario.
She asked me for a DNA test after she asked 2 or 3 other people.
That's a lie. I did not. If I have to pay for a DNA test, I'm going to put you on child support. He disappeared again and did not ask anything else about a DNA test.
Her ex-boyfriend actually called me on the phone.
That's a lie.
And had a conversation with me, and he's not mine.
That's a lie.
I hope it works out for you.
After some drama, the case gets serious as Miss Myers shares that she had been absent in her baby's life and she tried to connect them, but the defendant ignored it on purpose. She further shared her parenting struggles. And now, it's time for the results.
This should be about Logan, especially when he knows that Logan's his child. 3 different kids by 3 different people. And there's been multiple emotional messages to him telling him that Logan doesn't deserve this.
Mr. Black, you are the father.
That's okay.
You are the father.
Thank you. I can handle my responsibility as a father. May I see my little boy?
Pettiness is disgusting when you show it to someone innocent and ignorant of harsh reality. A mother called out her ex for being cruel towards her daughter and also practicing favoritism, but the defendant was unsure of the baby girl's paternity. To provide justice to the kid, we just need a DNA test.
Amaya has told me on numerous times that she's sad that her dad don't love her. She did a video testimony of how she feels. You need to change your attitude towards her.
She texts guys all the time. I feel I'm not the father.
She looks just like you.
Maya's like more better. I got other kids. She's like disobedient. She misbehaves, so I gotta treat her accordingly.
The defendant said his doubts stopped him from loving the baby because Miss Martin was always texting other guys. Cheaters are calling each other out. The plaintiff called him wrong and shared her relationship realities in court.
Through our relationship, I discovered he wasn't honest. He had 6 other girlfriends at the time. I realized the car that he showed up into at my house was another female's.
So, Mr. Danfield, did you drive another girl's car to Miss Martin's house?
We wasn't serious at the time. Like, we was just having sex.
The defendant stepped in and continued calling her a swindler and accepted no wrongdoings on his behalf. Well, he talks a lot about cheating. He shared once how he got his initial doubts about infidelity.
And I was messenger calling her, like, she never didn't respond. And then when she come home, her hair all messed up, smelling like sex.
Wait, what?
I respond, like, where you been at? She didn't have no proper excuse for where she been.
He's crazy. Like, these are all his insecurities.
The judge gave Mr. Dampier another chance, and this time he showed naughty messages by the plaintiff to another guy, which he stole from her phone secretly as revenge. She's smart, but how will she defend herself on this?
I want blank blank for breakfast. Miss Martin says, where you at? Mom, same house? Other man says, yup, so you coming? Yup, on the way, be there in 20. What's that emoji down there?
That was just conversation. I've never cheated on him.
The plaintiff admitted those proofs and said she wanted to hurt him, but denied cheating. It's not enough to remove the dirt from your shoulder. But the defendant didn't stop and brought more texts from her phone.
And Miss Martin says, morning. Another man says, I want to see you again, love. And then Miss Martin responds, when?
She said again, that means like you already seen him, so what do you mean?
He's somebody from my past. I've never cheated on you.
But why are you entertaining these men then?
Because he wasn't giving me the attention that I wanted.
The judge asked the plaintiff about the pregnancy, and she said she told him, but he wasn't happy, and further explained that they were still intimate to this day. But he denied everything. Upon this, the defendant said a shocking statement about Miss Martin. The court was ready for the results.
I have said that. Being
You
spiteful.
told him
I
he's
have.
not the father?
And then I showed him
And
a
then
random.
she showed me a picture of a guy and said, this is Amaya's dad. They look more alike than me and her. They resemble each other more than we do.
Mr. Damfier, you are the father.
Exactly. Like that.
Sorry, Amber.
I don't catch it, my mama gonna call me.
How can two people have completely different accounts of every sexual encounter?
Stop being a victim. I'm not. You are not.
It might have happened, but I don't remember.
So how did you know I was lying?
We're
tagging people in a sonogram now?
He put in a lot of work.
I've been all over this country.
I made him send it because I didn't have sex with her.
I was not there.
You got in the game.
If you're gonna be our daddy 24/7.
Mr. Lee's mom had all her hopes tied to the results of this paternity case. It was either her wishes came true in the courtroom or she went there to have the worst day of her life. Apparently, there was a baby on the line, and Mr. Lee's mom was definitely not ready to believe the baby belonged to her son. Miss Longshore, on the other hand, was full throttle on the fact that Mr. Lee was the father of her kid.
Ms. Johnson, you have brought your teenage son to court to get the results of a paternity test to prove that he is not the father of the defendant's son, Hayden. Ms. Longshore, you state that you are positive Mr. Lee is your son's father, even though he claims to have been a virgin before you met and that he slept with you only one time.
Miss Johnson, who happened to be Mr. Lee's mother, started by talking about how she uncovered the deeds that were happening behind her back. Not just behind her back, but under her roof. She got a text from Miss Longshore explaining that she had a sexual relationship with her son and that he could most likely be the father of her child. Well, so she thought, at least.
Understood that I would be angry, and she had informed me that they had sexual relations at my home when I was at work.
And then she also obviously indicated that she thought your son was the father.
Initially, she thought somebody else was.
Okay.
No. Well, that's what you told me, and I have the
It
Facebook
was-
message right here.
It was between.
Jerome, would you please hand me?
Miss Johnson sure had a firm grip on her son. It was finally time to tell his side of the story and how things really played out. His story was the complete opposite of what Miss Longshore claimed to have happened. It was now a question of who was really telling the truth. Now, that's not even the mind-blowing revelation because it gets even spicier. Mr. Lee says she told him she was pregnant, but wasn't sure if he was the father. These stories just don't check out.
Well, I talked to her on Facebook, like we had a conversation on Facebook, and at first she was telling me like, oh, I'm pregnant, but I don't think you're the father. I had sex with other guys, it shouldn't even be you. And then afterwards, after the baby was born, she was like, oh, don't worry, it don't look like you, you're not the father. So I wasn't even worried.
I never said that. I told you plenty of times Kaden looks just like you. Why are you lying in court?
No, you
Please
never
stop.
said that.
Please
In
stop.
Apparently, these two had been fooling around since high school. Miss Longshore claimed she was just with him for the sexual aspect of the relationship. Mr. Lee, on the other hand, believed Miss Longshore's intentions were never for them to get into a serious relationship. Well, at least they both agree on one thing. It was never meant to be a serious relationship.
We went to the same high school.
Okay.
We were never together. It was a friendship type thing, and we ended up having sex one day, and I got pregnant.
With
And we
a
were
house
never
full of people,
together.
Judge.
We weren't.
And it wasn't like we ended up having sex. She was coming after this. It's not
You got
at all.
I was coming after that.
Yeah, she was
Wow.
checking on me. It wasn't
Wow. I was
Okay.
coming after that. That's crazy.
Well, if this baby ends up being yours, it's gonna be checking on you too.
Miss Johnson was upset. She was really upset. She felt the baby coming into her son's life would ruin his plans for a bright future. She didn't want him to go through so many headaches before he made something of himself. Well, newsflash, Miss Johnson, your son was the one who got into a sexual relationship. It sure seems like he wasn't thinking about his future.
I'll do it because I want him to finish college. I want him to go. I want him to achieve his dreams. I never got to achieve mine, okay? And I want that for him. He's age when I had my first kid. So it's not that I don't understand the struggle, but I know you gotta work at it. Ain't nobody just gonna give you nothing. There's no reason for me to just accept a child when he was 5 months old when I got the Facebook.
Now, in Mr. Lee's defense, he said he knew nothing about the baby. One moment she was fine and okay, and the next moment she texted him out of the blue and said she was pregnant. Well, at least that's how he put it. Miss Longshore had something totally different to say. She tried reaching out to Mr. Lee several times to talk about the baby, but he turned into a ghost. She couldn't get a hold of him anywhere.
Like we never even saw her pregnant. We never saw pictures of her pregnant. It was like just a baby out of nowhere.
What? Pregnant. You were tagged in my sonogram before you deleted me. What are you talking about?
You never added me.
Beyonce was.
You never added me.
Yes,
We're tagging people in a sonogram now?
Judge,
I've
please,
never
can
seen
I
a
say
sonogram.
something? Judge, please, Judge.
I want to understand. You tag his name in the sonogram. That's what you did?
I tagged his Facebook and
Miss Johnson proceeds to detail how much she suffered while she was growing up. Things weren't easy, all right. She went through so much to get to where she is today, and that's all she was trying to do for her baby boy. With the way she spoke, you could tell she was definitely not going to allow anything to ruin her son's life, even if it was a baby, or should I say, most importantly, if the baby was not his.
Miss Johnson, you said you were homeless.
Yes.
What was your childhood like growing up?
My mother had some substance abuse issues, but she's made great strides to improve and change her life. So I know it can be done. Thank you.
With her mother as an addict, like she raised her siblings, she raised all her brothers, and I was raised up with them.
So you know your mother's a very strong woman.
Yes, I do, Your Honor. I know she'll do whatever it takes just to get us fed.
Today, all this talk about Miss Johnson wanting the best for her son was getting on Miss Longshore's nerves. She got angry in almost no time, and she decided to air out how she was feeling. She started by accusing both Mr. Lee and his mom of making her look like a bad person. I mean, they both had a sexual relationship, so why are they making it look like she was the only one who was interested in the relationship?
like, what are you making it seem like this is just me or something?
There wasn't
Like,
no game on.
how is it just my fault? How is it just my fault? You had sex with me too. I didn't have sex with myself. Like, come on now, get it together. Why didn't you think smart enough
When
to
you're
put a
gonna come
condom
over
on?
every day
I don't
and
walk
just
around
throw
with
it at me,
condoms.
I can't say no forever. If you're gonna come over every day and just throw it at me,
I didn't
like,
come
oh,
to
you
your
want
house
some?
every day, so stop lying. Stop trying to make me seem like I'm a hoe.
Now Mr. Lee has a new perspective on his story. Talk about someone playing the victim. He claimed Miss Longshore seduced him into having a sexual relationship. He even claimed he was still a virgin when she started to make sexual moves towards him.
Like, I never met any of her family. I never went to her house. I didn't even know where she stayed
You
at
haven't met any of
until
my
she came
family?
over.
You haven't met none of my family? You didn't meet my brother who went to the same
Miss
school as us?
Longshore, let me ask you
African.
this,
Come
Miss
on now, get
Longshore.
it together.
So you two weren't even dating. You were saying you were just friends.
Yes.
And that's what I thought.
Did you want to be more than a friend?
I did like him, and he needs to stop acting like he didn't like me back, because you was telling everybody at school that you liked me.
The atmosphere was getting too heated for the tantrums that were coming from both sides. The only thing that could smooth the air was the DNA results. Would Miss Johnson's dreams for her son be shattered?
Mr. Lee, it is without question, you are Caden's.
I told you! Told you! I ain't got nothing left to say. Told you!
This revelation was one that Miss Jones wasn't expecting to uncover. While she was growing up, she felt mistreated and unwanted by Mr. Jones and his family, only to discover that there is a possibility that she could have another man as a father. The revelation shook the walls of Miss Jones's heart and left her with so much confusion. Mr. Jones, on the other hand, believes that he is so sure he cannot be her biological father. He wasn't just certain, he claimed he could prove it.
Jones, you say that growing up, you felt unwanted by the defendant, Jerome Jones, and his family.
Yes, Your Honor.
Then 4 months ago, you learned that he and another man could possibly be your father.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Jones, you argued that you're 100% positive that you're not her biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say you can prove it.
The words she used to describe her life while growing up were unwanted, neglected, and invisible. Mr. Jones, who was meant to be her father figure, was almost never present in her life. She couldn't even remember spending any quality time with Mr. Jones, which then begs the question, was he really her father? I mean, dads are meant to love their kids, but Mr. Jones wasn't doing a great job at that.
Your Honor, I felt unwanted and lonely and invisible.
Wow. Take me there. What was it like for you as a little girl?
He was in and out my life, barely saw him.
But you knew him to be your father?
Yes.
But you barely saw him?
Yes.
Was in and out your life?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you remember quality time you spent with him?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Jones was so certain that she was not his child. He claimed to be present in Miss Jones's life, but was quite certain he wasn't her biological father. On several occasions, he had fights with her mother about the paternity of Miss Jones, but her mother was very insistent on the fact that she knew he was the father. He even said her mom was the one who didn't want to get the DNA test done to determine who the real father was.
But we had to set up once before where when she was a little girl, that she could have had, we went up to have a test done when she was little.
Yeah, but my mom told me that you said you didn't have the money for it.
No, that's not true. At first I didn't, but I went to the hospital and I got there, and Terry knows that Ms. Brittingham knew that when we got to the hospital, I was there to get this test done then.
To determine who the real father was. The conversation about the use of protection while in a sexual relationship comes up, and Mr. Jones and Miss Jones's mother get into a brawl. They start arguing and yelling at each other, saying, "You use protection." "No, you didn't use protection." "No, you have never used protection." There was no going forward with these two because they just couldn't agree on anything.
You do admit you had a relationship with Ms. Jones' mom.
Yes. but-
So why so much doubt? You say you're 100%.
Well, first, Your Honor, when I was with her, I was always protected, and I made sure of that. And then when she says it must have burst my protection, which I knew it did not. And
When
you know
did you
it.
use protection? I'm sorry, Your Honor. But when did you use protection? I don't remember you
yes,
using
I
no
did, Chair,
protection.
and you knew I did.
The stories were starting to sound very confusing in the courtroom. Mr. Jones had apparently been paying for child support all these years. His name was even written and signed on Miss Jones's birth certificate. I mean, it couldn't have been forged. If he paid for child support through the years and his name happens to be on her birth certificate, why then is he saying he is 100% positive the child does not belong to him?
If this was the case, if I'm to be her father, which I paid for her for all the many years.
So you've been paying child support all these years?
Yes, I have, Your Honor.
Are
Yes,
you
I
on the
have.
birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor, he is on the birth certificate. I have a copy right here if you'd like to see that.
Jerome, please hand me that evidence. So take me back a little bit, Ms. Brittingham. So you were still in a relationship with Mr. Jones?
Yes.
No, Your Honor, that's not correct. That is not correct.
The genesis of this paternity crisis was that Mr. Jones felt Miss Jones's mother was not honest with him when she gave birth to the child. He claimed that when she was asked who the father of the child was, she initially hesitated and then went on to call his name. Has Miss Jones's mother been seeing other men? I mean, if he is the biological father of the child, why not boldly say his name and be done with it?
Well, what happened is, then all of a sudden she hesitated, and then she said Jerome Jones.
What you felt like all these years was that she wasn't completely honest during that time.
Exactly.
And you've paid support all these years.
Yes, I have.
You have evidence that
Yes,
you brought?
I do. It's right here, Your Honor.
Jerome, please hand me the evidence.
And it's 2 years on here. It's 2 years missing. That's not there.
This is where things start to get out of hand. Mr. Jones presented his evidence, showing how involved he had been in Miss Jones's life. Apparently, Mr. Jones had paid over $50,000 in child support. Now that's a lot of money going into child support for a child you claim not to be yours. No one in their right senses would want to pay that amount of money without knowing if the child was really theirs.
You're saying you've paid close to $50,000 in child support
Pretty close.
for a child that you 100% believe is not yours.
Absolutely. I'm sorry she has to go through this today because I still love her just like she is my child.
No.
And as
So
far as her,
wait.
and
I
as
don't
far as her
really
not,
feel like that.
and as far as
I don't feel like
her
that at
not
all.
coming to my house, that was her choice.
Mr. Jones' story started to have some serious twists and turns. Miss Jones was tired of hearing him speak, so she decided to open up once again. Apparently, Mr. Jones didn't tell anyone she was his daughter. Whenever they went to gatherings, people would often ask who Miss Jones was because Mr. Jones never mentioned he had a daughter. It was only there, and then Mr. Jones would reveal that she was his daughter. Like I said, something smells fishy with his story.
Who's this? And you said, it's my daughter. I was like, oh, I didn't know you had a daughter.
You told me that?
No, you said that to them.
No, that's not true.
No, what was said was they would say they didn't know he had a daughter.
Yeah.
And you would say that this was your daughter, and they say, oh, I didn't know you had a daughter.
Why would I say that?
Mr. Jones and Miss Jones's mother got into another heated argument. It was now time to play the blame and deny game. Miss Jones kept emphasizing the fact that Mr. Jones denied the baby several times. He never wanted anything to do with the baby. Mr. Jones, on the other hand, called her a liar. He said it was her fault he wasn't involved in her life when she wasn't completely honest with him.
He would always tell me, she's not mine, she's not mine. And I told him, I said, one day you're gonna need somebody and she's gonna be the one you're gonna have to turn to. And you were on your job, she was 7 years old. I went to your job just to take her by so she could see her daddy. He was never there. I mean, if you really felt like that, you could have came up with the money and had that DNA test done.
It didn't look like Mr. Jones and Miss Jones's mom were ever going to come to an agreement. The only saving grace here was the DNA test, and the judge was ready to give the final verdict.
Mr. Jones, you are not Lakeisha's father.
And that's fine. So now you know. Come here, baby. So now you know. That's all right, because you'll always be my baby.
It was very hard to tell if Miss Sproul and Mr. Dixon had a beautiful relationship or if it was just a friends with benefit kind of thing. Miss Sproul was furious that she had to come to court to prove that Mr. Dixon was the father of her 13-month-old child when she knew for a fact that there was no other person who could be tagged as the father of the child. Mr. Dixon, on the other hand, believed he was not the father of her child. He claimed it was a purely sexual relationship with no strings attached, so he was certain the child wasn't his.
Miss Sproul, you are furious that you had to file a paternity case against the defendant, Mr. Dixon, due to his denial of your daughter, Skya. You say you know know the exact night you conceived, and he is her father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Dixon, you claim that your relationship with Miss Spruill was purely sexual, and one conversation that occurred is the only proof that her child is not yours. Is that correct?
Mr. Dixon started off by listing and explaining his doubts as to why the child could definitely not be his. He brought in an exhibit to paint a vivid picture of the doubts that had been stored up in his head. He sure wasn't here to joke around because he was ready to fight Miss Spruill to the end. Miss Spruill was also not going to let Mr. Dixon have an easy win. She was as prepared as he was.
We're so excited about our newest family member, Skye. So she goes around showing pictures and, excited about it, showing to our coworkers, her bosses and everything. Except for one particular coworker comes out of the blue and was like, whoa, wait a minute, pause. No, that's not his baby, that's my brother's baby. Like, whoa, wait a minute. Why would this girl come out of the blue and claim that this is her brother's baby just like this? So I have my doubts that this is my child.
Lie.
And then too, Your Honor, I want to say this too.
She was as prepared as he was. Mr. Dixon had proof to back up his claim. Apparently, Miss Spruill wasn't being a faithful partner during their relationship. He said she had 2 different phones she used for 2 different purposes. The first phone was to post everything about herself on Facebook, and the other phone was to talk to other men who she happened to be intimate with. Well, at least so he claimed.
Maya has 2 phones. She had one phone that she used to be on the internet, and she posts her whole entire life on Facebook. She has another phone where she texts and calls. She plays like she's 2 people on Facebook.
He has that
She
number.
done did
He's
this
not allowed
multiple
to have
times.
my main number. We have no communication because, like I said,
He's not allowed to have your main number, and he's the father of your child?
We're gonna go to why he can't have my main number. Mr. Dixon ran off to Alabama when his daughter was 1 month old.
Now Mr. Dixon had time to defend himself since he claimed he wasn't the father of the child. It was Miss Spruill's turn to speak up, and she had some truths to let out of her chest. Mr. Dixon was not loyal at all. While he claimed to be away for work purposes, he got himself another baby with a different woman.
Mr. Dixon had a whole nother child while he was still with me. He was still with me.
So what was he doing in Alabama?
Making babies. Yeah, he was doing in some work. He put in a lot of work.
Mr. Dixon.
And not only that, once he gets down to Alabama, my daughter was all over his Facebook. Cover photo and all. The same child you've been denying.
How can you claim a baby when the baby first came into the world only to then turn your back and deny its existence? Miss Spruill was furious because when she initially gave birth to the child, Mr. Dixon claimed the child was present from the time of birth. When his other baby mama found out about the child, he stopped showing care and started to deny the baby.
Entire pregnancy. He was. He is the one who told me I was pregnant. He said I was pregnant because he's throwing up everywhere. He said I was pregnant.
Because he was throwing up.
He was throwing up.
Your Honor, let me tell you about that, Your Honor, about that. I had a hangover. We got drunk one night, and I had a hangover, and I threw up at 5, 6 o'clock that morning.
So why did you call me to find out when I was pregnant?
Hangover.
Why did you call me to
Weeks
find out I
later,
was pregnant?
she's the one throwing up.
Before she gave birth to the baby, everyone thought she was lying about being pregnant. Apparently, Mr. Dixon had been selling a different story to those around him. He said that she was faking the pregnancy and was delusional about the whole situation. Finally, Thanksgiving came, and there were no more lies to be told. Everyone found out she was pregnant, and Mr. Dixon had some explaining to do since he was the one who had been spreading the lies.
Everybody found out that I was pregnant. Everybody knew I was pregnant by then. Because at first, they were saying I was lying about being pregnant because Mr. Dixon kept telling them I wasn't, even though he went to the
All she
appointment
do
with
is
me.
lie. You don't know what to
You
believe.
went with me. How did I lie?
You don't know
went
what
with.
to believe.
So did you go with me to the appointment? Did you?
went.
Was you there when they said I was pregnant?
No, I wasn't there when they
Oh, you wasn't
came
there?
back with the results.
You wasn't
I was at
there?
the house the whole entire time when you
All right, so Thanksgiving, they found out you were pregnant.
Yes.
Mr. Dixon made attempts to be present in the child's life, but Miss Spruill was not very welcoming. He approached her with the idea of wanting to change the baby's name to his, but she didn't agree. She was too upset that he hadn't been around for so long, so she wasn't going to let him put his name on the birth certificate.
A name change is a significant acknowledgement, as well as being willing to execute the birth certificate. Why not be cooperative instead of combative?
Because the day we were supposed to go get it changed, Mr. Dixon ran right back off to Alabama.
lies.
Oh,
We
you
had
did?
plenty of time. I didn't leave.
You
I
were
didn't
there
leave
for
till-
a week. You was there the first week of her life, Mr. Dixon.
I didn't leave back to Alabama till a month later.
He was the one who had been spreading the lies. Mr. Dixon made attempts to be present in the child's life, but Miss Spruill was not very welcoming. He approached her with the idea of wanting to change the baby's name to his, but she didn't agree. She was too upset that he hadn't been around for so long, so she wasn't going to let him put his name on the birth certificate. The courtroom had seen enough of Mr. Dixon and Miss Spruill's drama about who the biological father of the baby was. It was finally time to reveal the truth. Endless argument they both didn't want to stop.
Mr. Dixon, you are the father. You are her father.
Thank you.
You feel relieved, Miss Spruill?
I do.
How do you feel, Mr. Dixon?
I'm excited. I have a beautiful baby girl. I'm gonna be the best father I can, and I'm just glad the truth is out.
The most evil parents on paternity court.
Are not her father.
Are you serious? I swear that's a lie.
The DNA doesn't lie.
Baby. Oh.
The DNA doesn't lie.
Oh no.
What is going on? Why are you texting him like the baby isn't born when the baby is born?
I just didn't want to break up a marriage when he found out he had a kid by another person.
Miss Whitman was in front of Judge Lake with her no-shame attitude, claiming that there was no way that the defendant could be the father of her 1-month-old daughter. With both men wrapped around this mommy's fingers, the trial proceeded like this.
So now explain.
Well, me and Mr. Mitchell met at a bus station when I was coming from Chicago to Arkansas. We kind of like kicked it off quick and became girlfriend and boyfriend. And 2 months into relationship, I met Mr. Anderson. And we were pretty much like friends because I thought Mr. Mitchell was cheating.
Well, that's just bizarre. Cheating on someone you love based on speculations? It was clear that Miss Whitman needed to reconsider her life choices, because she was now stuck in one of the messiest paternity confusions.
This is a small town. It's a small town. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows who drives what. This particular person I know stayed with her a week.
You know who this guy is?
I know him. He's one of my cousins.
One of your cousins stayed up there with her for a week?
Yes.
Did your cousin tell you that he slept with her?
Yeah, we done gave each other daps and everything.
Well, the woman had the same jingle playing. You know, bluntly refusing everything. So, well, let's skip to the pregnancy part. Turns out that, although she sent pictures of her pregnancy test to both Mr. Mapson and Mr. Anderson, just in 2 weeks, she changed her mind.
Did you have any idea that she was sleeping with other people?
I kind of had suspicions because of our relationship. It was a long-distance relationship. And after a while, you know how long-distance relationship is.
Did you show up?
First, my intentions was to show up at the hospital, just knowing that it could have been somebody else's kid. I didn't want to just involve myself.
With both fathers in denial, someone had to take responsibility for the child. Anyway, Mr. Anderson was not ready to play along at all, as the experience of the child was ruining his current relationship. Still, no one was ready to pay for the test.
I went through the whole birth alone, the whole 9 months. He even stopped talking to me, and I couldn't get a hold of Mr. Anderson because he blocked all communications, Facebook, telephone, and he stopped answering the phone for me, Mr. Mapson.
The reason I blocked her off because of the stuff she was doing on Facebook. She was, you know what I'm saying, just out there just saying, this is my baby daddy.
That is toxic. Compromise on her daughter's right to know who the father is? What mother does that? Upon the judge asking Miss Whitman if there's any chance that someone else might be the father, she further escalates the doubts like this.
So you are positive?
Yes, Your Honor.
That there is absolutely no other possibility, no other man besides these two could be the father of your child?
That's right, Your Honor.
There's one.
You agree with Mr. Anderson, Mr. Mapson? You believe there's a third?
All I know was about Mr. Anderson. I don't know nothing about nobody.
You heard her. There was another person who stayed over for a week. See, we told you no shame for her game. This made the judge more suspicious, and she finally had to pull the trigger by calling in for the result, which went like this.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Anderson, you are not her father.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. I knew it. All the time. All that stuff you've done to me.
Mr. Mapson, you are her father.
Infertility and infidelity both had convinced Mr. Ball that he was not the father of Miss Cox's 3-year-old daughter. With multiple men on the paternity list, the plaintiff refuses to play along with the mind games of his ex-girlfriend. Sounds messy, right?
How did you first hear that Miss Cox was sleeping with multiple men?
We were talking every day, you know, morning, noon, night, we would talk every day. And maybe within the last 90 days of me, you know, serving my time, I was getting letters from her best friend stating to me that she was sleeping with other men, going out with other men.
Okay, so the girlfriend's best friend's claims caused a stir in the allegations. This was refuted by the defendant, who disclosed that Mr. Ball was certain about her loyalties before meeting the other man at the grocery store.
While he was away, were you in a relationship with another man? Did you tell Mr. Ball?
Yes, I did. I wrote
No.
him a letter and I told him everything that was
No.
going on, and he wrote back and still agreed to come home to me after hearing everything, as long as everything was put to a stop.
So why did he have to hear it from your best friend?
My best friend at the time is his other child's mother.
Whoa, what just happened? He was tipped by the mother of his child, who happens to be the best friend we've all heard about? Okay, now I'm also thinking that the dad got played, because there was some obscene evidence in this situation.
Grabbing pictures off of our computer, and I pull up a picture, not one picture, but
But you
multiple
knew I was
pictures.
hanging out with the guy. He
multiple
knew about
pictures
the guy.
Of her, and not only just that guy, another guy.
No,
and
all the
another
same
guy. And I
It was all
asked
the
her,
same-
What was in the picture?
her arms around guys, kissing around guys.
No, it
and
wasn't
I'm
no
asking
pictures
her,
like that. And the pictures were deleted. They were in the recycling bin.
It's now clear that Mr. Ball was cheating with the defendant's best friend, something we all suspected. Turns out that the suspect was a deadbeat who was cheating on the baby mama right under her roof and was now trying to play the victim in the situation.
I took care of her because he was too lazy to get up off of his butt.
When we were looking for a job, she was sitting right outside the place texting a dude.
Because I was texting another guy while he was in the place filling out a job application. That was his excuse to stop looking for a job.
Wait a minute, let's get some order. Now, this is just ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Well, ain't that overwhelming? Up next, when the judge asked Mr. Ball to participate in the birth of the daughter, the defendant responded yes. According to Miss Cox, he refused to sign the birth certificate and even denied a DNA test. It looks like Mr. Lazybones was genuinely avoiding the responsibility.
When your daughter, Gabby, was born, was Mr. Ball there?
Yes,
Did
ma'am, he
participate?
was. Yes, ma'am, he did. And he drove me to the hospital. He was there the whole 3 days I was in the hospital. He drove me home from the hospital, and we stayed with him. He would not sign the birth
Why is
certificate
that?
because he said he wanted to
Why is
make it
that?
hard for me with child
Why
support.
would I tell you I wanted to make it hard for you?
Another fact was revealed that while Mr. Ball was engaged to another woman, he was still fooling with the mommy at the podium. Wow, that's a good way to not have a baby with someone you trust. Oh, and the fiancé part? Good luck explaining that to our man.
It's never about my child. It's always about me because we were just sleeping together a week ago. We were
week
just
ago?
at your mother's house sleeping together a week ago.
Wait a
minute.
Were we not, Miss
At
Montgomery?
her mother's house?
At his mother's house,
week
yes.
ago?
Yes.
You were at his mother's
A
house?
week ago. No.
Yes,
No.
we were. Might have been like 9 days ago,
No.
a week and a half ago.
During that
Mr.
time,
Ball.
no. It was not 9 days ago, Your Honor, but
Yes, it
yes,
was,
we
Your
were
Honor.
intimate.
That is a harsh disgrace on Mr. Ball. It appears as though he was staying away from liability and was taking advantage of Miss Cox. No matter how much you tried to manipulate your way out, truth always finds its way.
When it comes to 3-year-old Gabrielle, it has been determined that Mr. Ball, you are her father. Is that the news you wanted?
Yes.
In this paternity court episode, Mr. Lang brought his wife to the dock for the alleged infidelity done with his best friend from the sandbox. But the mommy refuses to play along with such nasty accusations. It looks like both parties are at polar ends. Good, because now it calls for drama. Here's how the session went.
I found out that Miss Brown slept with my son's best friend from the sandbox best friend. I don't think she know whether it's my son's or Mr. Dixon's.
Is that true?
No,
Ms.
that's
Brown?
not true, Your Honor. I've never slept with Mr. Dixon.
Okay, so you're saying her assertion isn't true?
No.
But the twist is that she wasn't the only one to blame. It could have been that another potential father was using baby mama to pull up revenge on Mr. Lang, cause they were best friends. And wait for it. Newsflash, Mr. Lang had cheated with 50 to 100 girls? So now you know that daddy isn't innocent either.
Mr. Lang, when you found out she was pregnant, you were happy about it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have any doubts at that time?
Not at that time, no, I didn't.
And what made you start to have doubt?
When Mr. Dixon got in the picture, and he had told me to stop messing with her because the baby she's pregnant with could possibly be his.
She informs you that she's having a baby and you're the father and you are happy about it.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Dixon sure knows when to make a phone call. Plus, adding more to this mix, the grandma also jumped with her choo-choo of, "It's not your baby." Although Miss Brown's claimed to be sleeping with only Mr. Lang, her man was not ready to trust baby mama's words.
And I am very sure that this is his baby, and we spoke about it. I haven't slept together with no one else. And exactly that time is around the exact time I got pregnant.
You say that's your window of conception?
Yes, that was in middle August, into August.
And so now the baby's born?
Yes.
Mr. Lang was there when the baby was born?
Yes, he was there the whole labor and
You signed the
delivery.
birth certificate?
Yes, he did.
After this, the defendant pointed out the real reason behind the denial. Well, it was the meddling mother of the potential biological father and her unwanted interference in the relationship. The baby mama even had proof of it. Was that even necessary?
Every time me and him would have an argument about him cheating, his mother would get into it. Either try to argue with me or try to lie for her son, which she can, I don't doubt. Don't be in my face telling me a lie. Just go away with your son. Like, don't get on Facebook talking mess. She'll get on Facebook, oh, that giraffe, I don't like her. Like, I don't know, I can't explain it. She would always get into it.
She called you a giraffe?
Never.
Anyways, to end this drama without getting sidetracked from the main theme, it was clear that a child was stuck in the midst of grown-up drama, which was unfair. But hey, this is where the paternity court steps in. Let's see what that envelope holds this time.
When it comes to 1-year-old baby Janelle, you are not the father.
Are you serious?
Oh,
that is a lie.
Lies.
baby. Oh.
The DNA doesn't lie.
Oh boy, bet you didn't see that one coming. Well, that walk from the dock to the waiting room has been the longest road in this woman's life. However, we also felt bad for the guy who so far was busy playing daddy.
We just want to finish it. Come on back in.
Finish it how?
Well,
I could tell that that was not the result you were expecting. I have to ask you, if Mr. Lang is not the father, who is baby Janelle's father?
It's a lie, I know he.
Mr. Hodges was stuck with the same question: if he was or was not the father of the defendant's 1-month-old daughter. And if you're thinking, why was there doubt in the first place? Turns out that the plaintiff had caught his girlfriend cheating. Broken over such a revelation, he chose to begin like this.
She cheated on me, and I caught her with multiple guys. She had one hidden in the room, and whenever we first got together, she said that she would never hurt me or cheat on me. She would be truthful, and yet she's lied to me left and right.
Miss Willard, you kept lying and you kept cheating?
I had a guy over at my house, yes. He was visiting because...
That's a major no right from the start, because the baby daddy testified that his woman was fast. As right into days of meeting up, they got all cozy. And we know, man, they might run after with these flags, but they don't parade around with them. No, we're not exaggerating, and the defendant had been cooking this at her place.
You are the one who pushed your son to open this case.
Yes, Your Honor.
And why did you do that?
Because I knew that she had been cheating on him. He had caught her with another guy that she said was a friend. He was hidden in her house when my son got there.
The other guy in your bedroom when Mr. Hodges came?
They had broke up.
So why you have to hide anybody?
Because she didn't want him to know.
Her mother also has her hands in the dirt. At this moment, the court appeared to be persuaded that Mr. Hodges was correct. But wait, even though the alleged knew that Miss Willard was loose as a goose, Mr. Hodges got engaged to the defendant.
So you were engaged to Mr. Hodges, but you were married to another guy at the time?
Yes, Your Honor.
What was your first impression when you met Ms. Willard?
I thought she was sneaky. She always kept her phone on her. She never let him get a hold of it. And when she was on it and he would come around, she would hide it. I had messages from a guy that she was seeing while she was seeing my son.
An endless flow of tricky moves. What's going on? However, the young baby daddy's mother jumped in for the rescue and told her that the defendant double-timed her son. The potential bubby even had brought text evidence to prove her testimony. But the other grandma wasn't ready to back down either. Watch how she gets down.
So, Ms. Willard, were you dating this man and Mr. Hodges at the same time?
No, Your Honor. He was at the hospital when Lillian was born. Yes, I was with him at that time.
Your Honor, he's saying that. He's saying that because he wants my daughter. I've been through it with this person. I think it's in February, right after Christmas sometime. She didn't even know she was pregnant at that time. She left my house.
Suppose there wasn't enough lying already. The defendant also had hidden a baby at this point that she had before meeting Mr. Hodges. Despite all this, the climax arrives when the defendant also conceals the birth of a 1-month-old daughter from Mr. Hodges. What a train wreck!
This is too much lying.
I know.
This is just too much lying. Now, I heard about 5 lies. What is going on? Why are you texting him like the baby isn't born when the baby is born?
I just didn't want to break up a marriage when he found out he had a kid by another person.
Regardless of every hard reality, Mr. Hodges is faced by the defendant when asked how he feels after also developing a bond with a beautiful baby. He sounded shattered. With enough proof on the table, there's no stopping this DNA conclusion.
Hodges versus Willard. It has been determined by this court. You are the father.